Hello, guys, and welcome to Promcast. And today we're rating Premier League signings from both transfer windows. We're going based off their performances, their price, and the net spend of each club. With teams such as Chelsea, where they spent more, we're going to have to be more harsh compared to other teams who may have been exceeding their standards based on the amount they spent. Let's dive right into it with Arsenal straight away. Okay, the big money signing was Thomas Partey, who hasn't played as much as he probably should have. What do people think about Arsenal?
Good player, but Arsenal fans act like he's the best defensive midfielder in the league, and he's hardly played yet.
That is true. He had a couple good performances, which impressed, but he got injured very quickly, and he was the same with his last season at Madrid.
If he steps up to the Atletico level, though, he might be a great signing.
Yeah.
I don't think he was that good at Atletico, though. I knew he was good, but I didn't think he was like that standout CDM player.
True, but I think he was the player Arsenal needed if he steps up. I don't know.
I feel like he filled the void in between Sal Niguez and Koke when he needed, because they did play a back three, which meant they were quite defensive, and he was a great transition player when going into attack, which for a team like Atleti is vital. Arsenal needed a CDM which could progress with the ball for a very long time. They said some people think they haven't had a good one since Vieira, with Xhaka failing to meet that expectation.
Definitely.
45 million is a lot of money, though.
Of course. Thing is, when I remember we played Atletico in the Champions League last year, I don't remember if Partey even played, or if he did, he didn't play well. So I remember when Saul played, he played bloody amazing. I remember most of the players who were on that day, but I don't seemingly remember Partey. So he could be this great signing, but he could also be this flop who's been overhyped due to the fact he's a defensive midfielder.
He has been injured, though.
Yeah, and he may have been injured. Like, if you're going to buy a player for £45 million, can you have someone who's consistently on the bench or in a fitness room?
In theory,
you never know with players.
Yeah.
Never know.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Gabriel and Pablo Mari were both brilliant signings for the defence. Gabriel, when he has played, looked brilliant, and 3 million from Pablo Mari was a steal, in my opinion.
I think Gabriel's good.
Gabriel Magalhães.
Yeah, he came from Lille, I think. Yeah, he's been probably, I would say, their best signing this year.
Where did Mari come from?
Flamengo, I think.
3 million. For
I think he's a
steal.
I don't think Mari's great. I think he's another Mustafi. But
I think he's downgraded from Mustafi.
But 3 million, you can't complain.
He played well against Chelsea when they beat us.
How old is Mari, though?
19, 21.
Oh, he's got a future then.
He's got time to progress, and Arsenal have a chance to mould him into the centre-back they want him to be.
Yeah.
Mari's actually 27.
No
Really?
way.
Yeah, I'm
No.
looking it up now.
No way.
Yeah, he's 27.
Oh,
Seriously?
Yeah, he's turning
not getting
28
any
this
better. He's
year.
not getting any better.
I think he was probably like that backup.
Yeah, I think he was a rotation player.
I don't know why I thought he was really young then.
Yeah,
Everyone
that-
thought he
Anyway, let's move
Okay.
on to the next one. But let's just say I don't think Arsenal fans are very happy with this signing. Willian.
I was happy with this signing.
they got scammed and he was a free.
Yeah, they thought they had a steal of a deal, but Willian's stats towards the end of last season were bumped up by free kicks and penalties. And when he's not able to do that, he seems like he's making cross after cross to reach the goalie's hand or the side netting. He's pretty useless going forward, and he hasn't even got the work rate that made him brilliant for Chelsea.
Thing is, I'll take him at Palace.
You would take anyone at Palace. 'Cause
I'll take any attacking players currently. I'll take at Palace. But
you're relying on Benteke in your forward area. Anyone would be more reliable than that.
you saw the goal yesterday. Didn't you?
Mateta, that was a great goal yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant.
That was class, yeah.
But Willian, I
Odegaard,
just think he's a fraud.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's past it. He's so past it. I think
He needs to get out the Prem if he wants to like make a name in football history. Even though he's probably too late for that now anyway. But if he wants to be remembered, then he needs to get out.
In his generation, he's nowhere near making a name. He's behind Coutinho and Neymar for Brazil. Oscar was better than him when he was at Chelsea, although they played slightly different positions. He wasn't even the best Brazilian back then. Ramirez or Oscar was. So, Yeah. Okay, let's move on with the next ones quite quickly. Matt Ryan and Odegaard have been good signings, in my opinion. They're either quality from other leagues or Premier League experience just to bolster the squad with quite good options to buy afterwards.
I also like how they took Brighton's one of their best players, so makes
He was
my
our
life.
favourite. He was our
Reliable
favourite,
players.
Brian, though.
Matt Ryan has done very badly this season, is what I will say.
He hasn't played, has he?
No, he was dropped because he did very badly. He had the lowest expected save rate of any the lowest save rate of any keeper in the league, I think, bar Aaron Ramsdale.
What about Adrian?
Or Kepa.
Actually, I don't think he played enough to be there.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, because
Adrian's shambolic.
But over the last couple of seasons, Ryan's been a solid goalkeeper.
yeah,
So that is something very decent. And Odegaard, he's just bringing quality from Spain. He will, I think, eventually make his mark in the Premier League and may sign permanently.
I hope he does. He is very good.
Yeah.
With him, the sky's the limit because his potential is still insane.
Yeah.
I can't believe how young he is still, though.
Yeah.
Because he's been around for years, and it seems like he isn't aging a bit.
He's
just filling
gonna
the
be
boots
great.
right now. He was supposed to. All right, let's move on to the departures. This is probably the biggest thing to happen to Arsenal this season, in my opinion. Excuse for transfers in. Martinez shouldn't have been sold.
No,
Martinez is a great keeper.
For a club, no, but for an individual career, yeah.
I think he's improved Aston Villa by bags upon bags. Their clean sheets this season has been loads. I don't know the number of how much they have improved compared to this point last season.
I think it's like 11 or 13.
Yeah, he's done well. There was one point where they had the most clean sheets in the league. Now
His
City
form-
probably have.
His form seems to have dropped recently. Like there are a few.
He's going to make mistakes.
Yeah, like that game against West Ham.
Probably should have
Yeah.
stayed.
The two Jesse Lingard goals, yeah.
Do
And
you
then
think potentially Arsenal sold their best keeper?
no,
Really?
no.
I think
No,
Leno's still.
I think
think-
Leno's better than Martinez, but
Yeah.
for Arsenal standards, yeah. But Martinez is just good because now he's got confidence.
Yeah, that's what you need. And
Yeah,
And I think he would work better at a club like Villa than if he'd stayed at Arsenal.
definitely.
Yeah.
All right, Guendouzi. All of the threes were a bit of a. You can have an opinion on either side if you think it was a good or bad departure for the club. Guendouzi, Ozil, and Socrates. Although Guendouzi was alone, they've needed him this season.
Yeah,
He's performing, I think it's Hertha or what?
yeah, Hertha, yeah.
Hertha
Berlin.
yeah.
Doing very well for them, and I think potentially it could have been a great move. Get some more minutes up in a very competitive, strong league in Germany, and he just seemingly is excelling. So maybe if he does come back next year, provided Hertha don't buy him, he could slot right into that Arsenal side and even potentially take Partey's spot as that CDM. I think he's only 19, 20. He's still got years and years ahead of him.
He did start off really poorly, though.
What for Hertha?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard that he literally performed absolutely shockingly.
Probably
So-
just settling in.
Yeah, which is understandable when you're moving countries, because when you compare the Premier League to the Bundesliga, it's like two completely different leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at the table now, and they're literally scraping relegation right now.
For real.
Yeah, they're not doing as well as
15th.
everyone else thinks they would.
They're actually drawn on points with 16th, so I don't know. Maybe it was good for him on a personal, like as a personal move. But
I think the departure of Ozil, although he's a class player, that frees him up about 15 million to 40 to about 20 million pounds a year just from his wages.
And the
it was
rest.
needed. It was needed, yeah.
It was needed for a player who doesn't play.
I do feel sorry for him, though, because he did get the most awful send-off considering how well he did at the club.
I agree.
So
Right.
he is considered, you could consider him an Arsenal legend in a way.
An icon, but not a legend.
Because
Yeah,
just
he
because you remember that one season where he nearly broke the assist records, but then Giroud just couldn't score.
Yeah. He defined the end of Arsene Wenger's reign, in my opinion.
Pretty much, yeah.
Quality patches, but let down by other factors.
By other
such as-
players.
Yeah. such as other players, and then the fans turned on him and Wenger. He is
Yeah.
a manifestation on the pitch of Wenger at that point.
He should have went when Wenger went, 100%.
Yeah, same with Sanchez leaving.
Yeah, quality player he was.
Ready to move to Villa?
Yes.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Villa.
Ooh, who wants to take this one first?
Ollie Watkins, I'll take this one. I don't mind taking this one.
Oh,
Right, Ollie Watkins. What are you all thinking? Because I think it's quality.
I think
Absolutely quality.
Knows how to finish a goal.
Considering he came from the Championship to the Premier League, massive jump.
Yeah.
He's already got, 11, 12 goals.
Exactly. That's more than what some Premier League strikers have who have been playing here for about 8 years.
Yeah.
It's incredible considering he wasn't necessarily a no one, but people didn't really know who Ollie Watkins was unless you do follow Championship football.
I
But
don't think people thought he'd find the jump up to the Prem this comfortable.
exactly.
He's
more than
impressed.
Rashford.
Yeah.
And
But there you go
Aubameyang.
then.
And Mane.
And Martial, and Firmino, and Werner, and Tammy, and Giroud. The list goes on.
Yeah,
Everyone.
no, he was worth the 30 million.
He's playing so well that there's a debate that he should be in the England squad for the Euros. As in not the first 11, but in the squad. Along
Well, I
with
feel
players
like
like Calvert-Lewin.
if he keeps performing the way he is, then he could easily get into it.
Yeah.
Not the starting 11, but into the whole squad. He could get it quite easily.
I think Aston Villa as a whole, though, if you look at their transfer window, all of these players are pretty much first-team players, except Sanson, who hasn't played much.
Yeah.
Their net spend was in the negative, but it's been justified, I guess. Traore's helping out every now and again. Martinez has become a revelation, as I
think
think.
Traore is very good as a player.
I don't know.
He's had patches.
He has purple patches where he's good, but
then I feel like most players do, in a way. I mean, he did come from Lyon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
that one,
And once again, French League to Premier League, massive difference. Even bigger than like the Bundesliga to Premier League. It's a massive difference from anything. But
yeah.
it's like it was that touch against Man City that he done,
Oh, yeah.
which every commentator and every pundit was just saying like, wow. Because they weren't expecting it, because it was on the turn and he touched it around him. Even when I saw it, I was just saying like, that's incredible. Like no player would have thought to do that. He's quick. He's good on the ball. He can shoot sometimes. His shooting's a little bit off, but when you're a winger, it's not really your main priority to do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think he's class for 18 million as well. Give it a few years' time, and he's gonna make up for it.
Yeah.
Want to know who I think's class?
Matty Cash.
Matty Cash.
Oh yeah, brilliant player.
Underrated.
Incredible right back this season.
Mm.
Yeah.
He was a player from the Championship as well, wasn't he?
Nottingham, yeah.
Yeah, Forest, yeah.
Incredible player
I
for him.
wanted West Ham to buy him.
I wanted Palace to get him.
I wasn't aware of him. I thought we were fine with Reece James, but he is on that Reece James from level where he's nearly England's best right back.
Yeah.
He's the level below that.
Yeah.
He'll be one of them players who's so good in quality, but he'll go under the radar just because he plays for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because he doesn't play for the original Big Six team, he won't get the call up.
Same with Leicester and Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, it's just a shame because he is such a quality player that he could, like you said, he is on par with Reece James. He's probably this season on par with Wan-Bissaka. He's probably played better, if not the same level as Trent this year, arguably.
There's no argument there. There's no argument there. It's completely facts.
So you're thinking it's literally just because he plays for Aston Villa, he probably won't get the call up, which is unfortunate because England, we need a player like him at fullback who can do it.
Exactly. I think Ross Barkley was a good loan signing, except his injury. He's opened up freedom for Grealish. They don't have to rely just on him going forward for creativity. I'm confident they will buy him for I think about 10 million or something around that area from Chelsea.
He's worth that.
That's a steal if they get him for 10 mil.
Yeah. He's injury prone, but he's got the quality.
Yeah.
Didn't he score in his debut?
Yeah.
He started off strong. He started off really strong.
Yeah, he done really well, and everyone's thinking they got him on loan.
But he got
no
one
one
or
knew
two.
he could do that.
Yeah.
No one knew that Ross Barkley still had it in his locker, but obviously Villa saw potential in him and it worked. It really did work.
Manager, pardon?
I was about to say, Ross Barkley was a player who, every single Merseyside derby, I would look at Everton and be like, I think he's potentially one of the few players, along with Lukaku at the time, who got into Liverpool's team. These players I've always thought was really criminally underrated. And if they do spend £10 million, that's a steal. I think any club would be going for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does anyone know anything about the departures?
No.
He went
Not really.
to Birmingham. That's what I know. That's
What, Hogan?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I've heard of Baston, but I've no idea where he went.
I think the fact that we don't really know about it means that they were pretty good departures. They weren't useful to the squad.
The net spend wasn't great, but I mean, it
they're
always
getting
worked
players
for
out so they
Villa.
can get players in, pretty much.
Yeah, the net spend is going to be poor this season. But at the end of the day, they're higher place in the league. They might even get you like the Conference League, or if they're optimistic for Europa League, that will just bring in more money in the long run.
Definitely.
So
I will let the Palace fan talk about this and see if there'll be a hint of bias. Go on, Ben. I reckon we hear your opinion about this team.
About the arrivals, I don't really know much about them apart from Lallana, Veltman, and that's about it. Don't know anyone else.
Apparently the third one's supposed to be.
Caicedo's.
I can talk about a lot about
Caicedo,
the departures, but I can do that after we've gone through the arrivals because I
don't know any of the first two, but Caicedo was supposed to be promising, and I'm pretty sure he's done all right for them. Again, they've not had a good season, but I think Brighton have played good football.
Oh, they have. They played. It hurts for me to say they have played very good football. They just
I think they're underrated. They
can't score.
They need a finisher for sure. Zakiri plays all right for them. Veltman, everyone knows Veltman.
Yeah,
he's all right.
Veltman scored last night for Brighton against Palace, and you wouldn't expect that. That was a fullback's finish.
Good finish.
It was power, just no chance. It was incredible. It hurts me to say that as well.
What I will say is that Brighton's performances, although they play good form in their football, they've been underperforming this season. Like, 100%. They've brought in quite a few players there, and the fact we don't recognise most of them still
says a lot.
They're playing quite a similar lineup to last season, would show they haven't utilised the transfers properly. So I wouldn't give this the most positive of, I don't know, outlooks if I was a Brighton fan, but I wouldn't be too disappointed. I don't know. In my opinion, it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. They got some good players in. They got some well-known players in. They got some players who no one knows about yet. But then they're in the Premier League, so they can make a name for themselves quite easily.
Thing is, the top two are both. I think they're both aged 20 and 19. I think one of them may be 21. I think those two are definitely purchases for the future more than anything else, because they may not be playing so much right now, but when they're literally at the start of their career, they don't want to put them into such a physical team. I think they're both defenders as well. Like, I think it was Timo Werner who said playing against Brighton was the biggest challenge of his career, because going up against Lewis Dunk and Veltman was a massive challenge for him. They're so physical. Maybe Moda and Carbonwick, what his name is, maybe they're just not ready physically yet for this league.
Maybe.
I'm looking at that 10 million player guy.
Moda.
Yeah, he's Polish. He's nearly just about turning 22, so he's got a load of time to be.
Yeah,
All right, just keep the same energy when Chelsea comes up and we've got Havertz, Chilwell, and Werner, please. That's all I'm going to mention whilst you guys are mentioning all about the future prospects.
I do think though next season Brighton are gonna, if they keep Potter, I think they're going to finish a lot higher than where they are now.
They need that one striker though. They need that
for sure. Yeah,
they get him, and then
they got Sturgeon, didn't they? Start the season.
Did they?
Yeah.
Was it Welbeck?
No, Welbeck. Yeah.
Oh mate, you should have seen him last night. Oh mate, he's the funniest footballer to watch. He's brilliant to watch.
I think it says facts that Brighton's second top goal scorer this season, once again, is Lewis Dunk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Once again, they tried purchasing a striker and a vast, like, Adam Lallana to try and improve that attacking talent, improve the goals from up front. And their second top goal scorer is Lewis Dunk with 3.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
It's not
Didn't they
good
have like 24 goal attempts yesterday against Palace?
chance.
Yep.
And they only scored once, and then Palace had 2 shots on target and scored.
But the thing is, though, with the Brighton, they had like 24 shots. They had about 6 on target.
They struggle to get the ball into the box.
So they can shoot from range. Anyone can shoot from range and on paper have 24 shots. It's whether it troubles the keeper or not.
That's true.
And it
Fair
clearly
point.
didn't at all.
They need that one big.
Did he just like for you really badly then?
He's been missing.
Yeah.
Anyway, departures. Talking about that goal threat, they've lost Anthony Knockaert, who did.
Oh, the scum.
He was you say scum, but you only say that because he was a good player for Brighton.
I just remember that goal at Selhurst Park he scored.
Oh,
And then
wow.
the celebration.
Yeah.
He's a very creative, gifted player, along with Aaron Moy.
Yeah.
Those
I
are
was
two
very surprised they got rid of Moy.
those players. They
He
could
goes
also-
to China or something.
Yeah, he went to China.
Yeah,
Did
he went
he?
to Shanghai Shenhua.
I would have taken him at Palace easily. He would have slot in.
I think the fact I think it's actually a bad sale at the end of the day when you consider that China's happy to pay X amount for whoever. They could have easily got like 15 million then.
Oh, 100%.
Like 60 million for Oscar back in the day. So
4 million for Aaron Moy.
I wouldn't say Aaron
Who
Moy
did the
is
season we just had, and the season before that, he performed really well.
Yeah.
Like
even
really
at
well.
Huddersfield he was good. Although they got relegated, he
Exactly.
was good for Huddersfield.
Exactly. So it's a bit strange. I wouldn't have let him go personally if I was Brighton.
Yeah, I wouldn't. This isn't a good transfer window. Maybe there's potential, but right now, not a good transfer window.
Definitely not.
Moving on to the next one.
Yeah, let's go. This is going to be the biggest one we do.
Burnley.
Oh,
Burnley
wow.
fans are very disappointed with how their club did in the transfer window, and understandably. They got rid of some actual big names to bring in Will Norris, Dale Stevens, and Jimmy Dunn.
Never heard of any.
World class.
I haven't heard of any of them.
Yeah, exactly. They got rid of. Bear in mind, Hendricks is okay, Lennon is okay, and same with Joe Hart. They got rid of okay players to do nothing really.
They got rid of, like, when you think about it, Lennon, Hendricks, and Hart, they're more like bench players.
Yeah.
Right. They got rid of bench players to get reserve players in.
Yeah.
They
I
were
wanted
mate,
to
Will,
mix it.
Will Norris
Plays
is
for them, but
was a
that's it.
superb signing. So I think you just got to rate this as a stinker.
Thing is,
They've got
Yeah.
new owners, so they might spend more.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when you think about Burnley, they haven't brought anyone in. They've got rid of some big names, and they're still doing semi-decently.
Yeah.
I think that's more Sean Dyche is so good at setting up defensively.
I think he's a class manager, though, because what he's done with so little is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's got his set way of playing. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
is chalk for some teams and cheese for others, literally.
Yeah.
I think it also does help having Nick Pope as your goalkeeper. It does help a lot with
Oh yeah.
Oh,
obviously.
where you stand.
6 foot, big 6'7" of him.
Yeah, probably England's first choice goalkeeper, playing for literally Burnley.
That was like Dean Henderson playing for Sheffield though, and it just shows how important some goalkeepers are to their teams.
Exactly.
So keeping Nick Pope would have been almost like a signing in itself.
It is.
Okay, I think that's all we need to say really in regards to Burnley.
Yes.
Oh God.
Dominic.
Okay, so where should I start? Give me a pointer. Where should I start? Where should I start?
Start
Let's-
at Thiago Silva. Start on a positive.
Okay, let's start. Thiago Silva has been brilliant for Chelsea. He has been by far our best defender. He's been consistent. Zuma's been inconsistent, which is why he would be our best defender, but he is not despite scoring all the goals. Thiago Silva has been quite frankly brilliant. He's just got injured. Okay, he just got injured, but apart from that, he was great. I'm quite upset he's missing the first leg of Atletico Madrid tie, but what can you do? And I think Mendy was necessary, and for 20 million, it seems to be a fair price for him, in my opinion.
I didn't expect him to be as old as he was.
I thought it was
He Chelsea have not planned for him to be the long-term keeper. We
I
planned for
thought he
Kepa
was
to
like
get his confidence
22
back.
though. I thought he was like 22.
Yeah, same.
He's only been playing football since 2014 because he got released as a free agent in 2013.
Oh, okay.
That's why you probably haven't known about him for too long. But
Nice.
we're using him to kind of fill in the years when Kepa's getting his confidence back.
But then he
I
won't
think-
get his confidence back if they've got Mendy playing though, that's the thing.
In a way, yes, but in a way, no. Tuchel's given him a break so far, and when he has played against some teams, he does look a bit more vocal, he does look a bit more confident, and he seems less injury prone. Maybe Lampard was giving him nerves simply by playing football because he didn't really know how to defend half the time, but
Yeah,
I think it will be a slow process, but it will be a good process.
definitely.
I think the transfer of Hakim Ziyech, by the way, if anyone wants to say anything, they can whenever they want, just interrupt me.
You know what you're
Ziyech was-
talking about, sir. I'm just
Yeah.
letting you ride it out.
Hakim Ziyech was our first signing. We signed him at this point last year, probably, with the announcement for him to join this summer. He was the signing I was the most excited about. He has so much natural raw ability that you expect him to just be assisting and shooting all the time with those high numbers. Before he came, we were told that he had the second most assists in Europe since 2016, second to only Lionel Messi. Those are some incredible stats to come with. And people mentioned to me it was the Dutch league, but he still did it for Ajax in the Champions League, if I remember correctly.
Because I remember that Chelsea match.
He got over the 2 legs like 3 goals and 2 assists against us.
Because I remember that, wasn't it at Stamford Bridge where I think even though Chelsea won or they got like a last minute draw.
Yeah, 4-4 draw.
Yet he played brilliantly. That free kick, everything. He literally was so good that when you bought him for 36 million, you're like, what is still the player? He knows what he's doing.
That is exactly how I reacted.
It's like,
that is the match. That is why we signed him.
We got a player who knows how to play football. We got someone who can cross the ball and he can score a free kick. If I want a player to pick out a ball pass 90 yards away, he's the player to do it.
Exactly.
But he seems lazy from what I watch. He's a very lazy footballer.
I think it's just because he's used to it. He's used to being lazy, though. That's the thing.
Maybe for Ajax, he didn't need such an intense work rate, for example.
Especially when you are the best team in
Netherlands.
In Holland, you don't need to, when you're an attacking-minded player, you don't need to track back. But in the Premier League, he
needs to adapt to the Prem, though.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think he'll give the chance. I can see him going in the summer. Chelsea are going to try and save their losses on him.
Yeah.
But where would he go, do you think?
I think he would suit the Spanish league, honestly.
He will suit any other league in Europe, maybe except the Italian.
After him.
Who is?
The Milan teams, Inter and AC.
Ooh! Imagine him with Lukaku.
Well, that's what I've seen on like Instagram and stuff.
That'd be very, very good.
That'd be class.
And if we get a fair price for him, I'm happy.
If that happens, an Inter could be a force.
Even more
but imagine like a player like Ziyech crossing the ball in for Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez literally headering it and bullying players off the ball.
The Italian league's really physical as well, though. That's the thing.
I'd say it's on par with England for physicality.
Yeah.
He might struggle in that sense, but it's a slower pace. So
I feel like he
could
would
benefit
from
that.
Spain, like I said.
Yeah, Spain or France.
I don't want to go to France, so it's a waste of a career.
100%.
Yeah, but it's not like his career is going to be a Ballon d'Or winning one. Make money while you can.
True.
What?
All right, here's the first of our mixed bags, I guess. Ben Chilwell. When we signed him, his first few games, he was brilliant. Goals and assists galore.
Yeah,
I think he was part of our best defence under Frank Lampard. He's still, in my opinion, better than Alonso. I would like to see him play as a left wing back because he can still defend. And I think the crosser he's got on him is phenomenal. He can whip the ball into the 6-yard box with such precision compared to Alonso, who takes a minute and he's so slow. The reason Tuchel doesn't prefer Chilwell is because of his height. But I think after time, Alonso's mistakes will get found out again and it won't be long until Ben Chilwell's back in our 11. Is what I would say.
I like Chilwell, but I think like 45 minutes is really steep.
I think it's too much for him. Yeah,
it's Leicester. They got 80 million from Maguire. They are hard. They are hard.
Well, they got
bargains.
you got the English tax. You know, you got the English player playing in the Premier League. That
23 years
automatically
old.
adds like 15 odd million.
his age.
And he was Lampard's signing as well. Lampard's wanted him for a while when he was
This
there.
is the only Lampard signing we got. The rest were the board, which is why he worked so well under Lampard's system straight away. Yeah,
Well,
Chilwell is
I always
24.
rated Chilwell though. Even at Leicester, I thought he was an incredible player.
He has a shot on him for a fullback.
Yeah, I remember he can shoot.
When
He
he's
can
on
shoot.
When he's on form, he's England's best left back, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
him and Luke Shaw will be battling out for that left back
I
role.
think Chilwell on his day is better than Shaw on his day.
I agree.
Oh, I'm not sure I agree with that.
Shaw's more consistent, but I will have to say I think Chilwell's got a much higher ceiling. He's just not reached that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you look
Ooh.
at Chilwell's first 3 games or so, you would be like he would be one of the first names on the team sheet for England.
Yeah.
Because
For England.
he was scoring, he was assisting, he scored against Palace or whatever it was. I think it was his debut as well, like his home debut, and he scored against Palace. No, it's not hard, but it was a class goal. He defended so well. He plays with his heart on his heart on his sleeve, whatever his name is, whatever it's called. He is incredible.
I think he is on his day.
But I just don't think he's worth 45 million.
I don't think he is, but he has potential for his value to go beyond that.
We can hope.
Oh, okay. I'm going to let someone else make the point about Timo. Who wants to make that point?
I like him.
Yeah, I like him as well.
I like him quite a bit.
Oh, seriously, we're all on a
We
good page on
all
it.
saw what he did at Leipzig.
I wouldn't
And
say
we know what. No,
he's not.
but if he does what he did at Leipzig, he's going to be worth every penny.
Yeah.
And he's shown signs of it. I think it's taken him time to adapt.
That's literally.
He's actually very underappreciated.
I think he's been very unlucky. Secondly, if he took,
yeah,
he's won the most Premier League, not Premier League, the most penalties in the Premier League this season. For example, if he took those for Chelsea, he would be about the same goals as maybe like Ollie Watkins, rather than where he is at right now, which is probably around the same level as Mane. Putting those players together, bear in mind he's played on the left wing most of the time this season. He's hit the woodwork about 5 or 6 times as well. He has been unlucky at times, but then he does have a tendency to miss quite a few easy chances. He needs to find his shooting boots.
Yeah,
that's all I would say about him.
He's going through a bad patch, and he's eventually going to pick up. Yeah,
A lot of players do that. So
He also did say that when he joined, he said that the physicality and the speed of the Premier League is completely different. He said he wasn't ready for it.
Not, you don't even need to mention when he joined. He said yesterday or the other day to Sky Sports, he got brought down to earth over the physicality of the Premier League. He said the defenders are 2 meters tall, they're brutal, they're fast, and even the defenders are faster than some of the attackers you had in the Bundesliga. He says the intensity of the Premier League is impressive.
It's really good.
I feel like that is the main reason why another player on this list has struggled.
Yeah. I feel like with Timo and Havertz, so literally all they have to do is get a little bit stronger and you're fine.
Same.
I think
Havertz.
Havertz's problem though was his. I think Lampard put him in the wrong position the whole time.
Yeah, same. He was made to play on the wing or as an 8. We signed him. He's a centre forward.
He played centre forward for Leverkusen, and he's shown, even at Chelsea, he's shown good patches.
He has.
Chelsea have too many players. Yeah, it's true.
I think over the next few years we'll have an exodus of players. We'll have one of Tammy, Giroud, Mount, or Havertz leave, because these are all players who play similar positions and won't be able to get in the same system together. I don't think Mount will leave, but if Havertz is to be forced into this lineup, Mount will either have to adapt his game or go.
I think Mount is class though.
I think Mount's our best player.
I can back that.
I think Mount's
incredible.
Yeah, he's consistent.
Which is why I think Maddison in the England lineup was a massive mistake.
I still back it.
I still back it.
We're not anyway. That's a discussion which I wish I was there for.
Anyway, Morata.
How did you sell him for that much?
We actually sold him for more. Transfermarkt got this wrong. BBC and everywhere else got it down as 58. I don't know how Transfermarkt got this much. We sold him for 58, I believe, but we're sticking with what Transfermarkt has written down. I don't know how we sold him for this much, to be completely honest. He seemed like he was a bag of hammers when he was playing. He couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. He was a worse version of Werner without the good sides. I think this was a brilliant departure for that amount of money. If we exclude the net spend, he was probably the best transfer we made all summer.
Yeah, I could argue that.
He's a good player, but nowhere near worth.
He's not
a Prem player.
Yeah, I was
he
about
was
to
never
say
going to be.
He had good patches of formula in the Premier League at one point. I thought he was a bit underrated.
He was underrated at times, but then he also went through a year of.
Yeah.
So
I think he was just a bit lazy in front of goal.
I feel like he didn't concentrate.
He was so casual when he like had a strike at the ball. He was too casual when he done it. Like, no, like you need to make sure every shot you take is going in, because in the Premier League, every goal counts.
Every shot on target in the Premier League pretty much goes in, because in order for it to be a goal, you need to make sure you're getting it into the corners, and so the rest of the Premier League has gone up to that level. Pretty much. You don't get any mistakes unless you've got Adrian or Kepa in front of you. So,
yeah.
Let's go through the rest of them quite quickly. Pasalic, for that price, probably wasn't very good, because he's great for Atalanta. He's part of their starting 11. He makes it into their probably best midfield, and we could have sold him for more. But we had a pre-loan agreement for that price.
When you first sent him out, he was worth that price. Or he was.
He's probably worth less.
Yeah, I would say when we first sent him out, he was worth less.
Yeah, so it was a good. In theory, it was a good sale for Chelsea. He was never going to make it into your squad anyway.
Pedro and Willian became Deadwood. So
too old.
Barkley, if he does come back, could become a good player, but I don't see any space for him, especially with Havertz in there.
Yep.
Quite a few of the loanees I'm upset about, to be honest.
I can understand two of them.
Batshuayi, I'm not really upset about. I think he's at his level at Palace.
Yeah, I don't even think he's that good.
He's not Palace level. He's crap.
Not Palace level.
Yeah.
I think Bakayoko and Tomori are both great players where they're playing right now.
I was about to say, I think Loftus-Cheek is probably like a hard one.
Loftus-Cheek is a hard one because he's got quality, but I don't see him coming back to the lineup for the same reason as Barkley. We spent a world record for a German on a player in his position.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve to have been kicked out at Chelsea, but he's been pushed aside, and the club's board were happy to do that because they saw the profit we could have made on Havertz in the long run.
Yeah.
Malang Sarr was good to get rid of him because he can be gaining experience and quality.
Yeah,
but we'll probably not keep Tomori simply due to the fact that we've got a £25 million buy on him from Milan, and he's been great for them. They're not going to miss out on that chance. He's our third best defender, and we were stupid to get rid of him when we still have Christensen at the club.
I think he's incredible tomorrow.
I think he is, which
He's
is
going
why
to
I'm
succeed
annoyed.
in Milan. English
100%.
defenders have been doing well there recently, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That net spend though.
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, but
It will
saying about
eventually pay
Brighton,
off.
it's for the future, remember? It's for Timo, Chilwell, Havertz are all under the age of 25. And
They have still got a lot
of
of time to do it, but I think it's just because of their price tag, they need to do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that's the only difference, yeah.
Because of how good they're expected to be. We paid for them to be good in the future, but also good now.
Yeah, you're expecting Havertz for 72 million. If you pay that money for a player, you expect him to, first game in, you want him to change the team completely.
He's been so unlucky. He's been injured, and then he had COVID, and then injury again.
Yeah.
He needs to build up some muscle on him. He looks like a Daddy Longlegs when he's walking out there sometimes.
Yeah, he looks scarily skinny.
Yeah, that's his one thing. Well,
Right, who's next?
Your
Crystal
boys.
Palace. We're going to let you start this one, Ben Gents.
Go on, Mr.
Oh, I
Palace.
think this is easy. Eze.
Really?
Pass.
Class.
Yeah.
Class.
He's a good player.
He is incredible. He's still really young. I think he's like 23.
His link up with Zaha is very good.
Exactly. And you can tell when he's missing Zaha.
He
can tell.
improves. He's good for the squad chemistry, in my opinion. He fits
100%,
in there
yeah.
straight. He's a South London boy, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like,
I feel like he's going to succeed under a new manager when Roy leaves eventually.
yeah.
Boy, the
Well,
owl.
I was hoping for us. I wasn't hoping for us to lose against Brighton. I was praying that Brighton win and they speed up the process a little bit more.
I
Of
reckon he
course-
would have got sacked if you lost.
Oh yeah, 100%. But with Eze, Zaha needed another player who plays like him. Like you saw it with Zaha and Balassi, incredible together. If you remember that, they were incredible.
They've got a lot of flair.
Yeah, and now with Eze and Zaha, it's bringing back what Palace needed. They needed them tricky players on the wing. They needed them players to do what they can, maybe win a free kick, maybe win a penalty or whatever. Because Eze he can score a free kick. He proved against Leeds. He ran the whole pitch against Sheffield United. Yeah, Sheffield United, but he still done it and scored. You're thinking, that's brilliant. For 16 million, and he came from QPR. He came from the Championship. He came from the Championship. He came here and he's doing that already. He's sending players on the floor. I think can't even count on how many players he's sent on the floor. They've literally fallen over trying to tackle him. It's incredible.
I think we had one who fell on the floor. I don't remember who it was though. But there was a TikTok made about it as they doing someone, and there was a Chelsea player. I think it might have been Ziyech.
Yeah, he's so good on the ball. He's so silky. The way he does it so effortlessly is incredible.
He's one of the main threats going forward this season.
Yeah, I don't think he's staying for us for any more than 2 seasons max.
If Zaha did though, he might. Who knows?
I feel like if Zaha stays and Eze stays, but then I feel like as soon as Eze goes, Zaha goes, and vice versa.
Yeah,
possibly.
And then
unless you go down,
and then it's the demise of Palace.
Unless you get a lot of money for it.
Yeah, true. But we can only hope.
They've sold Wan-Bissaka for what, 50 million? It's hardly gone into anything, has it?
No, I went onto a new training facility or whatever, or an academy thing, which is good for the future. But I wanted a replacement.
Yeah,
we went from Wan-Bissaka to Joel Ward. No.
Martin Kelly, lad. Martin Kelly.
Oh mate, I don't even know where he is now.
I've got a point. In all fairness, I've got a point about the transfer of Sorloth, because although you are desperately missing a good striker, and Sorloth did rip up Turkey last year, he seems like I think it was a brilliant sale in the end. You got 18 million for a player who, in hindsight, has now got 1 goal in the Bundesliga in 20 games.
Yeah, he's been awful.
It
just proves that he is a lower league player.
Benteke has got more goals than him in the league.
Yeah,
so
and that's saying something.
I think that was a brilliant decision by the Palace hierarchy.
100%.
Unlike, I don't know who's Mateta.
He came from Germany, didn't he? I don't know.
Yeah, he came from Mainz, I think it was. Yeah. Well, you don't know Mateta now, but if you watched the game yesterday, you should know.
That goal was
backheel goal. The confidence on that lad is brilliant.
Well, you may not know who Jake Clark-Shorter is now, but you'll know about him when we sell him in a few years for a bit.
But no, Mateta, he is a loan deal, so we did pay that for the loan. But then we have an option to buy him for 15, and I feel like if he.
Oh wow!
So I feel like the more he plays, the more confidence he gets, because we're playing Fulham next, and we still got West Brom and Sheffield. They're lower league teams, but if he can bag a few goals against them, yeah, I'll buy him for 15 million. He's young. I think he's like 24. He's still got a few years left.
I think with Palace, the next few games is quite pivotal for their season, because if they get in those 3 games 9 points, they have got past the 40-point mark. They can start to figure out what they want to play for next season. They can look to it positively, or go back. If it doesn't work, go back to what they're doing now.
Should be looking for a new manager for the new season. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah,
unless he wins them.
I want Eddie Howe. I want a young manager to come in and manage the young players, to make them stay, bring in more young players so we can develop a squad.
I thought you were about to say young English manager. I was about to go Brexit.
New Frank de Boer.
Oh no,
Frank Lampard.
I'll take Frank Lampard at Palace. I think he'll do bits.
Really?
I'll take him at Palace. I think he'll do bits.
All right, let's move on to the rest of them. Max Meyer, I think he wasn't going to be playing for Palace ever. So
he had a falling out with Roy in a way, just because Roy wasn't starting him. But then, like, Max Meyer didn't really fit our play style in a way. He was too slow to be a winger. He wasn't defensive enough to play the centre mid role, because we do play like a 4-4-2 most of the time. And on the wing, not quick enough. He had the ability on the ball, really good, but when you need him to play centre mid, he was playing cam. And when you have a player like Luka in the middle, he can't do it on his own.
No,
He lunges. He is the Serbian Brexit boy.
yeah.
He will lunge in. He will
Serves
take
it.
out anyone.
I can see him at Burnley in a few years.
I'm surprised they didn't buy him.
Yeah.
One quick point just to top this all off. I think Palace's transfers have improved the first team and the squad depth this season.
100%.
Whilst getting rid of some deadwood for good prices, basically. I think
Yep.
Batshuayi will come back to Chelsea and we'll sell
Yep.
him to whoever next season because he's
Yep.
not going to be a part of our lineup. Oh, I forgot to mention, on the topic of players like Tammy Abraham, I'm pretty sure if he doesn't make himself known within the next year, he will be gone because the Chelsea hierarchy are dreaming over Erling Haaland right now. He's got that release clause from 2022, which means we can buy him for 60 million. And if Tammy doesn't prove it, we know Tuchel wants a tall striker who can score goals.
But then again, so does Pep. Pep wants him.
I think it goes City.
Yeah,
I think he would do some dangerous things at City, especially because that could be Aguero's time up at that point.
He's
Yeah,
young.
they're buying-
Aguero's time is nearly up, I think.
He's
It
leaving.
would be
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
best transfer.
he's contract's running out this season, isn't he? He's going to be a free agent after this.
yeah.
Shame.
Wow,
But yeah,
imagine. They also want Messi.
true.
I don't think Messi's going to go City.
Go to Paris.
Yeah. To sum this up, I think Nathaniel Klein on a free transfer is good for squad depth.
Being-
Palace boy came through the ranks, let him go a few years ago. Done and dusty. He's come back. I think he's not quality, but he's good.
Fair enough.
Jack Butland for 1 million. Nice.
Should
I
be
want him
starting.
I want him to start, but what can you do? When Roy has something set in stone, nothing's changing it.
Yeah.
So
Harry Kane on corners.
yeah, but Jack Butland for 1 million, I think is incredible because I think he's a quality keeper and he's still relatively young.
For a keeper, he can go on for a longer few
in a
years.
Yeah.
row. Well,
He's younger than you think he is. He's been around for years.
I think he's about 28.
Yeah, 20. I think he's 27. I think he is, but he's still got a good few years left, considering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall Palace they've done all right. Could have done better.
Could have done worse as well.
100%. If we didn't get Eze, then I don't know where we'll be this year.
He's younger than
Relegation.
Edu. He's younger than Edu Mendy.
Well, there you go then.
All right, let's keep going. Oh, this is a long list for Fulham. Oh,
Well done,
Everton.
Everton,
Cool. Okay, team transfer win.
Okay.
EF. It's cool. Everton's before Fulham anyway. Transfer window of the season. That is a fact.
Yes.
They got James for free. That is
Incredible.
a steal. James for free. Doucouré for 19. Allen was one of Napoli's best midfielders for 22. Godfrey's a young player. Great. It was all.
Mm.
I think it's great.
I think Ben Godfrey's been very underrated.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
so do I.
I would have to agree. I think their whole
Mm.
business, bear in mind, even Robert Olsen they got for a free is a good backup since they got rid of Loso. And
Yeah.
Stecklenburg.
It's the King Carlo bargaining power as well. We've got everyone.
Another underrated point is they sent Moise Keane out on loan. He was not good for Everton, but he's firing for PSG now.
I don't know how he's doing it for PSG.
League player.
In Champions Leagues, yeah, definitely. Like what Callum said, in the Champions League, he's doing it as well.
Everton could be firing for the next few years. They should look to be going into the top four within the next 3 years.
100%. If King
Carlo-
Carlo stays, yeah.
Carlo can take him places.
Yeah. It's like you said with Doucouré, incredible player for only 19 million. Allen, 22 million still. It's incredible. It's just like when you put it on paper at the start of this season, you'd be like, they've got arguably one of the best midfielders in the Prem by player names and experience.
Well, at the
And
start of
they've
the
got-
season, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, aren't doing as well anymore, but they had an amazing.
They're still doing quite well considering. Like they had a
Yeah,
really
it's
slow
good.
patch in the middle. Like around Christmas time, they had a really, really slow patch.
They seem to be quite inconsistent at times, but then
Yeah.
they can
I
be.
think that's their biggest undoing.
It will
Well, I think-
improve over time.
I think Ben Godfrey for 24 million, even though he's still very young, he's a very good player. So like Callum said, he's very underrated, very underappreciated.
I think
Just
we
give it a
forget
few
how
more
good they-
years and he probably could get into the England lineup if he continues to play at high level.
I agree. I think we're just forgetting about how good their 11 can potentially be in a few years.
I know.
They've got I forgot their centre back's name, but he's the Colombia one. Someone quickly.
Mina.
Very Mina.
Mina, he's brilliant. They've got Richarlison up top there. They've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Their team is.
I like
stacked.
Richarlison, but he's a very, very. He's got really bad attitude issues.
I hate
Yeah,
it.
and he's sneaky.
Yeah, well, I understand why you hate him just because you're a Liverpool supporter. I don't like him. I'm a Palace supporter. He's done nothing against me. I just don't like him as a person. He's a brilliant footballer, but as a person, he's a bit of a prick.
Brazil diving, Brazil.
Just awful. But yeah, I think,
Okay.
like you said, Everton, with their full fit starting 11, they'll put up a fight against anyone.
Yeah. Okay.
They'll put a show.
Ready to move on to Fulham?
Yes.
An interesting point here is just how many Chelsea players are here. There's 2 ex-Chelsea players here, Ola Aina and Loftus-Cheek. It's like they're almost trying to be the B-Tech Chelsea. Down the road, they have a West London derby.
And they're not doing very good then, are they? They're in the bottom 3.
I think,
Yeah.
like Brighton, they're playing great football.
I think
Yeah,
that's
but
Scott Parker as manager isn't bad.
I rate him highly.
I feel like there's something wrong at that club. They've got quite a few. They've got a massive bag of good enough players who they should really be above where they are,
Definitely.
and they're massively underperforming. They've spent a lot. They've only got rid of Seri, who was supposed to be a great player. They've got.
I remember when
Reed.
they signed him. From
Yeah.
Galatasaray. No, it wasn't Galatasaray. It was from Nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, Nice from
Yeah.
France.
He had a
Chelsea
really good
wanted him.
season beforehand.
Yeah, Chelsea wanted him.
He was
They
supposed to be the
paid
next
money.
Conte.
They paid money for him.
Yeah, they've got Areola as well. Like they're massively underperforming.
Lookman, I think, is a brilliant player.
I think.
Apart from the pen.
Although this list
Yeah.
looks good, from Ola Aina down, it's all loans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's dangerous for next season. They're going to strip their squad of so much depth by just going into next season.
but then I feel like from Fulham standards, they don't really expect to stay in the Prem for more than 2 seasons. So they're doing this just to stay up in a way. It's like,
I know
because
they're trying to, but they're
last
not
time they
doing
came into the Prem, they spent over 100 million on players.
Yeah.
And then went back down and lost God knows how much on players. So they're only doing the loan deals now just because they can stay in the Prem. And if they do stay in the Prem, they can sign the players on. Because I think
Sign that
Lookman,
team.
like Lookman, he's incredible. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
He may miss the pen. He's incredible.
Yeah,
But,
but missing a penalty doesn't define your career.
Exactly.
Unless you're Zaza, but
Yeah.
that's only
But-
what people know him for.
But Lookman, he's so energetic. He's quick. He's skillful. I just think he's. You can tell he's a lone player because he's too good to be at Fulham. Sounds horrible to say, but
They've
he's
got a
too
few
good
players
for
like that.
Fulham.
They've
They-
got
they have got the
Loftus-Cheek and Areola.
Areola, yeah.
Yeah.
They've got potential if they act on their owners' money and some of these loan signings. I'm not sure Scott Parker knows his best 11 because he's got so many good players.
Yeah.
But in
100%.
time, that will be figured out, and Fulham might become a mid-table team.
Yeah. Well, they
I
signed
reckon they'll stay
Knockout.
up.
They signed Knockout. I haven't seen him play.
I
They
haven't.
loaned him out immediately to Nottingham Forest.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you
They
go.
did alone
Yeah.
massive, not just incomes, but also departures.
Biggest
Yeah,
money signing. Biggest money signing this summer.
Yeah. Well, I just find it a bit strange how they spent so much money on him and he's not even playing because he's a good player.
It's like signing Havertz and sending him out on loan. Why would you do that?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
No, you
So-
would put him into your 11 if you're making him your most expensive transfer of that summer.
Exactly.
Think
Or
how
you
you
just wouldn't sign him.
Quite bad in the Championship this year. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist in the Championship and in knockout. Nottingham Forest are really underperforming this year.
Mm,
Maybe. But then why would you sign someone for 10.5 million just to loan him on?
I know. He doesn't need the experience because he's good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen him play before, and he was easily Brighton's best player that day.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you ready to move on? I wouldn't say this is a bad transfer window. They just need to act on it properly.
Yeah.
They
it
just
would be
need
good
to-
if they managed to stay up. I think.
Yes.
I'd want Fulham to stay up just because I like him as a club.
I don't want them to stay. They can get relegated for me. I don't care.
I like him just because it's an easy win.
I like the West London derby, but at the end of the day, I'm not supposed to like Fulham, aren't I?
Yeah.
It's an easy 6 points.
Yeah, but so's playing Palace.
They're not.
West Ham on an easy 6 points now. London's getting less and less.
Liverpool are.
Liverpool, yeah, Liverpool easy 3 points.
Oh, fuck off.
Welcome to my world.
All right, let's go. Liverpool's next, isn't it? No, Leeds. Ooh, close.
I think they had
Got,
a good transfer window.
I think Miguel should take the stand on this one just because he knows a lot about Leeds.
Marcelo Bielsa Bumlick.
No, mate, he's a great manager. It's not even a bummer. But
Overrated manager in world football.
nah,
The third best, remember, who concedes more than he scores.
after David Moyes, maybe.
Oh yeah, definitely after David Moyes.
Right, where are you going to start off?
Well, Rodrigo, I think he's been a great signing.
I disagree.
I disagree.
Not for the value. No, hear me out. He was signed as a striker because they didn't.
He
expect
scored 3
Patrick
goals in 18 games.
Hear me out. I didn't.
Played
He was signed as a striker because they thought Patrick Bamford wouldn't have been good enough. But then he's been playing as a centre mid / number 10. That's why he hasn't got the goals. But watching Leeds, because he's out at the moment. Watching, he's a big part of their squad. I think he's been really good.
Quickly, wouldn't you say about Leeds playing in midfield for Leeds is different to playing midfield for other teams because of how much they like to attack?
Yeah.
So he's in and around that forward
goals.
centre. But he who plays as a midfielder with a good finishing on him, supposedly based on what we thought we knew about him from, I think it was Valencia, £30 million nearly. That's more than we spent on Mendy and Thiago Silva. Obviously, we've got Thiago Silva for free. That's a little bit less than Ziyech there. That's the class of player you think you should be getting in around that ballpark. We've got someone who supposedly can finish. Their midfield likes to push up. He should have more than 3 in 18.
He should have, but I think
he hasn't even got the assist as well. He's only got 1 assist.
He only got 4 for Valencia last year. He only got 4. You're not expect. I don't think he was bought necessarily to be a high-scoring player. I think he was more or less cover in case Patrick Bamford wasn't playing.
Chelsea's
and to have that quality and to have that.
I would not spend 27 million Great British pounds on a backup striker.
Thing is, the price tag is too much, but I still back that
he's a big player. In a way, he was a big name to the squad.
They needed a big player though. They just came from the Championship. They need a high-profile player who's played in the Champions League multiple times to come into a new side.
Melier was a good signing. I'm just going to mention that. Melier.
I think Rafinha.
He's taken that number 1 as his own for £6 million. You can't complain.
And a lot of people
they didn't really have a choice though, because their first choice goalkeeper was out injured.
I guess
Garcia's just been.
He got banned from football.
Garcia, no, he played against Crawley.
Yeah, and he did do very well then.
He conceded 3
against Crawley.
I think Melier, he's made mistakes. He's only 20, but he's also been great. He's
got potential to be something good. He's going to be the French number 1 in the future. Maybe. But
I think he's going to be a great goalie if he gets more confidence. As I think the goals and the mistakes he's committed is due to Leeds' leaky defence.
They do need a better defence.
It's their play style. That's why they've conceded.
Leading to as well. Llorente's bad signing.
I think if Bielsa reassessed his system, they could have a better defence. Maybe if they permanently moved Calvin Phillips as to more of a sitting back CDM who joins the defence when countered, that could be brilliant for them. And he plays like a Pirlo with the long balls. That would be probably the best way to fix Leeds going back and forward. Costa and Rafinha were good signings.
Yeah. Rafinha,
I think Rafinha's their best signing.
Yeah, 100%. I've been watching him for a couple of years, and I think he's going to be a top player. He's going to be playing for a top team in a few years.
I can see him going to Everton.
I see him going to like the bigger team, but
I can still see him going to Everton.
I've seen him linked with Liverpool.
Yeah, and
really?
Yeah,
but it's only a link. I don't know if it's actually real or.
I was about to say.
I mean, source, my nan.
We haven't also talked about Jack Harrison.
Who is Jack Harrison?
Yeah, their left winger. He's
the loan from City.
He was there last season. He was there last season, but he scored some wonder goals this season. If you've actually seen Leeds,
let's be honest. I think he plays for City. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. City don't need him. Leeds can
Right.
easily get him for quite a nice price.
Yeah.
They can get him
City
for
still-
about.
3 years.
I think
2 to
now after this season, I think they're going to have to spend upwards of about 12, 15 million just because of the season he's had.
I
Because
would put that number on
City,
him.
because City will know how much he means to Leeds.
Yep.
They'll be like, oh yeah, he's worth that much because we know that he is your first choice left winger. He's done this, that, and the other. He brings the team together, so you have to pay this if you want him. They don't want anyone else. They don't want to bring a player who's a stranger to the squad.
Same with Ben
Speak-
White. Though. Brighton did the exact same thing, and they charged 40, 50. Leeds weren't willing to pay it.
Yeah,
I think that's disgusting from Brighton, to be honest.
It was scummy, but he's playing for Brighton every game, so they had
And they
to.
they needed him. They could have either said no, or we needed him, because that's the reason they put on such a high
wasn't Ben
bid.
White the Duffy replacement?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Ben White's a good player. I think he's a good player. He's got a
He's-
lot of
he's
potential in
great.
him.
and Leeds is still higher than Brighton. So if they had Ben White, they could even higher.
He could have arguably helped their defensive problems, but
It still wouldn't have fixed the main problem.
it wouldn't have
of the
fixed
system's
everything.
defence.
They probably would have conceded about 5 less goals.
Yeah.
True. But if you look at it like overall, for a team coming in from the Championship and being dead on mid-table and still only a few points behind top 8, you've got to say he's done a good job.
They could still do a chef.
Talking about Bielsa. Stop talking about Bielsa.
No, I'm not talking about Bielsa. I'm talking about the team as a whole and the signings.
I think with Leeds, it's impossible not to talk about Bielsa in every single sense.
Leeds
I
are a
meant-
very
I meant in the
enjoyable
signings
team.
aspect.
They're very enjoyable to watch.
Their matches are fun to watch, but not for all the right reasons.
But like you're watching it just because they attack.
And so will the other team.
So and it's more the question of who's got the better defence, and it's obviously going to be the other team.
Unless they're
They're
playing
mid-table.
Water.
So
I think they are about
it's obviously worked for their first season.
I think it's because no one really knew what their play style was. If you didn't really follow the Championship, you don't really know what their play style is. They came in. Wasn't their first game against Liverpool?
Yeah.
And it was like 4-3
or something like that, 3-2 or 4-3.
to like Liverpool. And you're thinking, and everyone's like, well, hang on. How'd they put 3 past the Premier League champions?
And that's when they had everyone as well.
I think we had Virgil, we had Alisson at that point.
Yeah. And then Trent
Well-
scored an own goal, which got disallowed. And you're thinking, that could have been a 4-all game. You're thinking, hang on, what's going on here?
Let's be honest, Trent didn't think it was offside. He was trying to push it out and it went in his own net.
Yeah, he got scared. He got panicked.
World's best right back.
Never. All right.
Let's move on to
DJ, spin
club
that
we're talking
track.
about.
Nope,
Leeds.
Leicester, Dominic.
Are you serious? I'm keep messing up.
Yeah.
Oh god, chill. Well,
This
There's not
is-
many signings here, but yeah.
Yeah, but this is so easy to talk over.
dub,
Yes,
Top
pretty
3,
much.
dub. Yeah.
dub.
Fat
Fofana, dub. Fofana just pure dubs.
Incredible.
A
He's
lot
so
of money,
young.
but worth it. He's like 20 as well.
Yeah, he's so young, and he's already adapted to the Premier League. Probably could get into the Premier League team of the season on the bench.
Oh, okay. That's
On the bench.
He's played very well, and he's 20 years old.
Yeah,
He's got an average rating of 7.09, which means he's playing good on average every game.
that's very rare for a centre half who isn't
For
a
a-
big name.
For a centre back, he's got 4.5-ish tackles and interceptions per game. Those are numbers just below CDM, so he is playing out of his skin. He's playing out of his skin. I think this is their
He is the
best transfer
new.
window for a few
He's
years.
a new evolution of centre back. So he's quick, he's strong, he can tackle and he can pass and he can dribble. He is that complete centre back, which is the new age of centre backs in a way.
Steal of a signing.
But yeah, 31 million. He's already in a way proved his price tag because they are top 3 or top 4.
They are third, I believe.
There you go, like incredible. That's the player they needed.
And secondly, they're third on joint points with Man United. They could be second if it wasn't for goals here and there.
Yeah, there you go then. So it's just incredible.
Cengiz Onda was a terrible signing, which is why it's good that they got him on loan. Castagne fits for Bill perfectly. He was here. He was there for the Chilwell replacement. But who do they play at left wing? That left back,
Justin.
isn't it? Justin.
He's incredible. He's incredible.
Still good. It's good for the
He
squad.
had a good start to the season, but then kind of dropped off.
He's injured
Yeah.
now though currently.
Yeah, he's got an ACL.
Yeah,
Oh,
He's out for a while.
No, I mean,
He's dropped off because he hasn't been playing.
No,
I mean,
he
Castagne-
It's only last game.
I know where you're coming from though. He has, like, in the Christmas period, quite a few players did fall off. Like
Yeah, but that's
Everton, their
because
whole team fell off. Like
so
Justin,
many
he did
teams
fall off a
played
bit.
too many games. Chelsea's
But-
average rest over Christmas was 48 hours per game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like, obviously, when you're coming to the Premier League, even though he was here the season before, he's still quite young still. So he wasn't like really, he didn't really know the Premier League as well as most players do. So when you need to keep physically fit every time. Like when you think about summer for footballers in the Premier League, yeah, it's all about partying and whatever. You still need to maintain your physical form and your fitness.
It's not a summer holiday.
It's not.
And bear in mind, they didn't even get pre-season this year.
Exactly. So like, I feel like over time, like Justin, he can walk into any team easily, give it a few years' time. If the injury doesn't like take a toll on him, Leicester, I think, from now on, the way they're playing under Brendan Rodgers, they are incredible. They can make it into top 6 anytime.
Top 4.
Top 4 even, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a quick point, to be honest. When we think about all things considered, I think Chilwell for that price wasn't actually overpriced. Let's go back to it. I'll place out my argument right now. He's English. He's very young. He's probably England's best left back, as we've discussed.
Well, from last year, yes.
He was a Chelsea player Chelsea was desperate for, so he could have been charged anything.
So that's about 25 million. So where's the other 20 million come from then?
I think it is.
How was Castagna? How is Chilwell under all those things? 25 million when Castagna's 21.
He isn't worth 21.
Playing for Atalanta, and he was in the Champions League.
Champions League semi-finalist.
Yeah.
Chilwell
Okay.
hasn't done anything.
I know where the rest of the money comes from. The fact he played for Leicester. Let's not forget here they got 80
Price
million for
inflation in the Premier League.
Maguire.
It's just a Premier League player, that's why.
Yeah, Premier League rival
prices.
as well. I think Chilwell for that amount, all things considered, can be at least considered fair.
No,
Give
don't
it a
think
few
so.
years and I'll say fair.
Not at the moment.
maybe.
Damari Gray for 1.8 is criminal.
Yeah,
He fell out with Brendan Rodgers, and he had a year left on his contract.
Yeah,
I
which is a
wanted him at
massive
Palace.
argument.
I don't know where he went, but I wanted him at Palace.
Leverkusen.
He went to Bayer Leverkusen.
Good.
I
He's
think
got-
he's brilliant.
Scored on his debut, yeah.
I think he is class.
Played 3 times this season in the Bundesliga.
Is that it?
Yeah, but he
I mean,
left
he-
in January.
He left the other day.
Left in January.
In Jan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jan, yes.
Yeah, but it's nearly the start of March.
Yeah, but remember the Bundesliga has breaks at the start of, after
Yeah,
Christmas.
true, they're pussies.
Yeah. They like to have Christmas, yeah.
Stupid. Right, let's get on to the best team in England.
Firstly, I know there's the big one in second, but I'm going to mention Jota first. I remember when we signed Jota, everyone thought we paid way over the mark for him, that we were fools for it because we paid the same outfit for him as we did for Mane and Salah. However, he came in and he was scoring goals for fun. He is
Yeah,
someone
he
who,
did, yeah.
in a season where our attack had been relatively poor bar Salah, Jota was a very positive note to see. And he got injured in December, and I think he should be back for next game, but maybe even back for Chelsea. But I think,
Hope
for
not.
40 million, I think he was a great purchase.
I agree.
I
I
think
think
he's
he's
a really
great.
good player.
He was arguably one of Wolves' best players. And
Yeah.
I think if he keeps the form he had at the start of the season, he should be making it into Portugal's 11 for the Euros.
I think he was very underappreciated at Wolves.
Great.
People didn't realise how good he actually was at Wolves.
I think he was very useful to the way they played because they've struggled without Jimenez this season. Obviously, Jimenez also contributes to the goals not being there, but Jota, straight away without him, they looked weaker. Secondly, Jota's got, I've done the maths on this earlier, so here we go, boys. He's got a goal, so including the League Cup, the Champions League and the Premier League, he's got a goal every 107 minutes, which,
Very good for a winger.
when you're considering the fact he was brought in and he's been that player who Liverpool needed because they had Firmino for so long, who couldn't score in a brothel. So, like, this was a brilliant decision, I think, from Liverpool. I think the rest of their signings are probably good signings as well. And this is the Chelsea fan one.
Not all of them, but
On paper.
I'm still going to argue Thiago was a good signing.
Oh, he's a
Thiago
good
was great.
signing. He's a good signing. He just doesn't fit their play style.
Tsimikas was
I
terrible.
think Tsimikas is a good enough backup at 11.7 million when you know that Milner's going to be gone soon.
I think he's quite expensive for a fullback backup.
I agree with Ben.
Who's Chelsea's left backs? Yeah, we've got Marcos Alonso who was signed for 30 million. We signed Emerson for 15, and we signed Chilwell for 45.
Alonso was bought to be a starter though.
Okay,
And Alonso done quite well when he started at Chelsea.
Yeah, under Conte,
he
he
did.
was great.
He did. And then, okay, as per the Quetta, we signed 2012, so 9 years ago, we signed him for 7/8 million. So 11 was a good enough price, in my opinion. I think it's.
But then
fair.
again, if you're not Greek, who is he?
Who is he? A backup.
Who is he?
Yeah, but
I've never heard of him
not
before.
he's not even been Liverpool's backup this season. Klopp prefers to play Milner, even other players there.
I do see that. I think on
If
paper,
Gomez
that
was
a good
fit,
signing.
he would be covering the fullbacks.
No, I think Tsimikas, because he got injured, that's what Milner had to slot in. But
No, Milner's been doing it for years.
No, but I think Milner was almost relieved of his duty at left back as soon as we bought Tsimikas. But then Tsimikas did get injured, like most of our squad did get injured magically. Even Davies, as you see there, he came in and somehow he got injured on his first fucking day. My language. But yeah, I would like to touch upon Thiago because I know many people think he's awful. I think Thiago is very, very underrated in the fact that every opposing fan thinks he's awful.
I think you're lying to yourself.
No, honestly.
Okay, I'm gonna just state out the facts here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was a good signing, but you're using him wrong. He
Yeah,
played in a 2 DM role, as in a CDM role, along with Kimmich in Bayern, and he made a part of the 2 best pivots alongside the other in the world. You guys were never going to play a 2 system in the middle because you've got Jorginho, Wijnaldum, and Henderson, who also needs to go in there. Which means you're always bound to play a 3. You were never going to bound to use him in his best way. He's not been horrible for Liverpool, but he's done nothing special. At the end of the day, signing him for 20 million looked good. So it wasn't a bad transfer, but until you use him properly, it's a bit of a waste of money. Like you could have spent 20 million extra on another place anywhere else. You're still needing a backup right back. Like,
It's true.
that's my point.
I think our defense is very. There's no squad depth in our defense, but
There's none. It's proved this year.
it's been proven this year. But I think our backup right back is the person who you said was our backup left back. It is James Milner. And had we not had the most injuries seemingly ever of any team in the Premier League, I think our squad depth would have been relatively fine. Because even if Trent did get magically injured, we had Joe Gomez who could play there. We had James Milner who could play there. Yes, that would obviously make our centre-back options, like less centre-back options. But then we had also Fabinho, Van Dijk and Matip. And obviously as well, Joe Gomez. We don't have a lot of squad depth, but we had many players who were very versatile. And I think that's what Liverpool probably saw. But I think that both of those were still quite decent signings. Thiago's not been the player we hoped, but he's still, especially where we've had no players fit, he's been relatively a very good player for someone who's had to change in a system when no one knows what's happening.
So I like when he plays and starts, your win rate is like the worst it's ever been.
I don't think that's Thiago's fault though. I think that Liverpool's just been poor.
But I think he's done nothing to improve Liverpool. He seems to make these long shots, which just hit the first line of defence. His long balls are smart, but they're never good. He likes to play the little dink over the ball, which Kovacic plays 10 times better than him. I take the mick out of him calling him Tapas Gilmore, but at the end of the day, compared to Gilmore, they both pass, they can both dribble a little bit, but because he's being wrong, he's being used wrong, his level's been brought down.
It's just because he's such a well-known player. He came from a team that just won the Champions League, a team that won everything.
Won 8-2 against the biggest team in the world.
Yeah. Just because he's having a few poor games, everyone's forgetting who he really is.
Yep.
Pretty much.
I think if he had come last season, people would be saying completely different things. If Liverpool were on fire like they were last season, he would be.
Well, I feel like in a full fit Liverpool team, he would be incredible because he would be that. Because they would have Fabinho and Henderson as the 2 CDMs.
Exactly.
So he would be in like the centre role. Cause he's better than Gini. Let's be honest, he's better than him.
Well, I was leaving anyway this summer for Barcelona, but he is levels above Wijnaldum. I do like Wijnaldum, but I think if we did, like you said, have Fabinho and Henderson like we did against Everton for most of the game, and then we did have against Chelsea, Thiago in that team with those two other midfielders was world class. No denying it. He was incredible in those two games. And I just do think had we not moved Henderson and Fabinho into defence, he would be one of the signings of the season for less than £20 million. We sold Brewster for more than we bought Thiago for.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Now on to the departures. I reckon Lovren was a massive mistake. He wasn't that good, but he also there was no harm in keeping him. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
That 10 million is correct though. You can't argue that that's not a good sale.
Well,
Yeah. It's a good sale, but
He
now you're
should've-
looking back at it, you're thinking, oh shit, we should have kept him.
And I think he did a lot for the squad chemistry as well. I think he was massive for Salah. He was his best mate. He was a bit of a joker, supposedly, around the whole team. He shouldn't have been sold unless you were completely confident what you had in the team could have been replaced.
Well, when you
Lovren
think
was
about
really
it,
quite
you
good.
have the centre halves of like, you've got Van Dijk, you've got Matip, and you've got Joe Gomez, yeah? Now you've seen Van Dijk go, you had Matip and Joe Gomez.
Your fourth option, I think, is the main point, shouldn't have been a CDM.
Yeah.
we should have bought
Chelsea, at the start of the season, Chelsea had Tomori, Thiago Silva, Zuma, Christensen.
You had too
and
many in a way.
We had Rudiger. And bear in mind, Azpilicueta's also played centre-back
Yeah.
before. We had 6 potential centre-backs. And now that Zuma and Thiago Silva are injured, we still are able to play a back three. At the end of the day, we have been quite smart, and it shows you do need a lot of squad depth in that defence because of how intense some battles can be between clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think-
if Pickford hadn't completely taken out Van Dijk, we could have a different complete story. Because
Okay, what would happen to Fabinho and the rest of your defence then? You would keep Van Dijk, but you would still only have Van Dijk and Kabak.
I reckon it wasn't just Van Dijk. It was everyone.
it was the loss of Van Dijk, and effectively losing Fabinho and Henderson in midfield. It completely screwed us over. It did completely screw us over. But you
As
can't
much,
do that.
the thing is though, like, even though the loss of Van Dijk was huge, you shouldn't be relying that much on a centre half anyway.
Yeah.
Should've.
On one centre half or one defender to control your whole defence. Van Dijk, undoubtedly, is brilliant. He can walk into any team and he'll get in their defence straight away.
He's the best
But-
centre-back in the world over the last 2 years only.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be heavily, especially Liverpool, who had won Champions League, won the league. You shouldn't be relying on one centre half to carry your whole defence. Because when Van Dijk's good on his day, Trent and Robbo are good on their day because they can push up. Because they've got Van Dijk at the back. He'll just sweep up everything, so they can have freedom to go up. But without Van Dijk back, who they got? They come back, and now they've got that Preston player
Who
as
is
an half
injured?
now. So who they got now? They can't push up the way they want.
Their whole system relies on one player too much.
Yeah,
I think if you look at the other great teams in the world, they've all got more than one good centre-back. Real Madrid have had Ramos and Varane for years. Bayern Munich have got Boateng. They used to have Hummels. They've got Sula. They pushed Alaba to be an amazing centre-back.
he's brilliant.
Like, okay, give me a second to think of more clubs. Man City, over the last few years, have had such big names at centre-back. So they've had Otamendi, Stones, Company, Ruben Dias. They can even push Zinchenko into there or Kyle Walker if they need to.
Carl Walker's very good at centre half. I must admit.
Your system shouldn't revolve around that one player. Your player should be able to revolve around your system.
Yeah, but then I feel like the loss of Van Dijk has shown why they are playing so badly, because he is such an important role to the whole Liverpool squad. So it is a shame to see. It was such a shame to see him injured, though,
Yeah,
and especially for the duration. Because even though I don't really like Liverpool, because let's be honest, no Premier League club likes Liverpool. Just 'cause who they are.
I don't think any Premier League club really likes another one, except maybe Leicester. People like.
But watching Van Dijk play is brilliant. You're thinking he's incredible. He can do anything. He can do everything. So seeing him go, it's a bit like, oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
So it's a bit upsetting in a way, but then every team's like going, yes, we have a chance now. So from
I think
a football fan as a whole, it's a shame that he's injured. But as a supporter of a Premier League football team, I'm jizzing boxers. I'm loving life. I'm loving life. So,
Anyway, move forward.
Okay,
overall.
the Chelsea lineup has been released, by the way, for the Atletico game. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I expected, but we move. We do have Mendy in goal. We got Marcus Alonso on the left, Hudson-Odoi on the right, with Azpilicueta, Rudiger, and Christensen.
Pretty much
Kovacic,
what it was predicted.
except Kante isn't playing, or
Ooh.
Havertz. Kovacic and Jorginho start with a Mount in behind, with Werner and Giroud up top. Or if we play a free, Mount will be on the right, Werner on the left. That kind of switches in the
What's
game.
the Atletico lineup though?
Another back five. Oblak with Hermoso in there, along with Philippe and Savic. On the right, you've got Koke, and on the left, you've got Lamar. In the middle, there's Llorente and Niguez. And they're playing a front three, supposedly, with Felix on the left, Correa on the right, and Suarez up top.
Right, Atletico winning.
You're going
That's
I think you guys have done.
That's dirty. No. I'm sticking by it. I feel like with Giroud and Werner and Mount, we've got enough up there to trouble their defence. And Giroud's finishing is phenomenal.
Yeah, but Felix and Suarez together are stupidly good.
I'm worried about Christensen.
Oh, I would be.
I'm upset we didn't see one of Reece James or Chilwell play. But
I'm not saying that Kante's not playing. I love Kante.
Kante would have been good as a player to drop back when Suarez or João Felix were attacking. But you know what?
Because he could pocket. Let's be honest, Kante could pocket any one of them attacking players quite easily. If you tell Kante to man mark a player, he will man mark that player. So
let's hope Tuchel knows what
he
he's
would have
doing
taken
tonight,
that player out the game. But anyway,
Next, move on. I think it's Manchester City, isn't it?
City.
They spent a lot. I didn't remember Ferran Torres and Ake costing that much.
Ferran Torres is not expensive though.
No, but
Ferran's a bargain.
actually, Ake more than Ferran, to be honest.
Ake was not-
Sane, they lost Sane for 40.
Yeah,
That
that's
was horrible.
Yes. Not better than an Ake.
Right. We know one person who, well, we know that Diaz is incredible as a centre half.
Brilliant.
Probably
There's a
the
lot of
best.
money.
Probably the best centre back in the Premier League this season, arguably.
alongside
Yeah.
Stones.
Yeah.
Stones, yeah,
But-
for sure.
Because Miguel watches the Portuguese league, how was he before City?
Hmm.
Do you think it's worth the price tag?
No way. I thought he was really overrated at Benfica.
Mm.
Obviously,
I
was a bit biased because I was a Sporting fan, but I didn't think he was anything special. But he's proved me wrong completely.
I'm going to be completely honest. This is a hot topic which people haven't thought about. Since Diaz came in, Pep changed his system back to what it was, more similar anyway, in the 2017-18 teams.
Where they dominated pretty much.
Yes. He also put John Stones back in that 11, who is head and shoulders above a bad Laporte, who has been poor recently. I think everyone knows about that.
Yeah.
I agree John Stones is underrated. But I think Diaz hasn't exactly been amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ake, good player, not worth 40 mil.
No.
Nowhere near worth 40 mil.
I
But
think
he's a
he
good
plays.
player. He proved in the Premier League that he's a good player for Bournemouth because he was very good for him. He was their standout player.
Yeah.
But he's not worth nearly £41 million. No.
City overpay for defenders regularly.
Yeah. It's like
Paid off of Diaz though.
they paid. Yeah, it's probably like you said, they paid more for Ake than they let go of Sane. Who would you rather have, Ake or Sane?
Sane any day.
Sane. But you've got to consider though, City have replaced Sane well. Not just
They've
with
done
Torres.
very well, yeah.
Then Foden's come into the first team now.
Can we all have a moment to appreciate Foden?
Yeah, he's a baller.
Foden's so good.
He
noticed it when he played.
He is incredible. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what team you support. He is just so enjoyable to watch. I'm so glad he's English.
He's got a huge potential, especially working with Pep.
I think if Pep leaves City, I think Foden will follow him.
I agree.
And if he does, I'm not mad at all
I'm
because
happy.
because it saves my team getting embarrassed by him in the Premier League, but it also means that an English player is being managed by arguably probably the best manager of our generation.
Yeah, I would say he is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So I'm not complaining at all, but I just think Foden, he can do anything. A little bit lazy on defending, but then if you're an attacking-minded player, you would be. And when you've got Man City's defence, you would be a little bit lazy.
And it's his boyhood club as well. Like he's shining in his boyhood club.
So you would obviously want to perform better just because it's your club. I mean, if any of you played for your team, even though we wouldn't make it, well, we could, but we wouldn't. But you would still show that you're putting in more effort than anyone else is just because it's your team and you love that team.
Yeah.
But Fernan Torres for 20 million for the future, still, I think he's great.
He's their next David Silva, or at least
100%.
That's what they're trying to make him into.
Yeah, like about 20 years old, and he's done quite well in the Prem. Obviously, it's hard to get into the Man City squad at the moment just because of the way they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
But he is just incredible for the 20 million price tag as well. For the future, very good. Considering no one really knew who he was before City bought him, he's kind of really made a name for himself. And when he played for Spain, now he started for City, he's got a hat-trick.
Yeah,
you're thinking, this kid's incredible. And if he, like I said, if he keeps working under Pep, he's going to be one of them standout players. I don't know what his speciality is going to be. Maybe shooting, maybe dribbling, maybe passing. It doesn't matter, but he will fit into that Man City squad so well because Pep will build a team around the specific players that they have, like they have done already. So yeah, I think the arrivals in minus the price of Ake is incredible. Even though the net spend for City, the net spend's always going to be negative.
Yeah, it's Man City. They can afford it.
They can buy anyone they want. Yeah.
Yeah, but they are just so. It doesn't really matter because the players they get, yeah, they may overspend on someone like Diaz for 61 million. It's like Miguel said, he wasn't that good for Benfica. He is still only 23 years old. If they keep him for about 7 years until he's 30, if you break it down to 61 million over like 7 years, that's next to nothing.
And if you can compare him as well, but Liverpool bought Van Dijk for 75. Yeah, okay, you could say he's not as good as Van Dijk, but they still had to pay for that world-class centre-back.
Exactly.
How old is Diaz?
23.
But yeah, value for money there is so much higher than even Van Dijk because he was 26.
Yeah,
23.
Also, Diaz's stats this year have actually beaten Van Dijk's debut season one.
I think it's a bit of both for the fact
Full season.
Liverpool had Karius, Moreno,
No. I mean, like Van Dijk's first full season.
That's a different argument then.
Yeah, and it's beaten them stats.
Van Dijk wasn't dribbled past once that year, if you remember. He also kept some of the most clean sheets. I think he had the most blocks in Europe. Van Dijk's second season was his insane year.
You know what? I think we're going away from the main point here. The fact that they can be compared proves that Diaz was a great signing. We're not arguing who's better or who's worse.
100%.
We're just trying to say that they're both brilliant at this point.
Otamendi for 30 million, like we said, is really good. It's like we said, it made money for Diaz.
He was part of the Diaz swap deal.
Yeah.
So they both came from Benfica then.
Yeah, I think the fees were involved somehow, but I think that's
they've done really well for that because they got rid of an older player to get in a younger player.
Yeah.
You do me a favour and I'll do you a favour.
Pretty much, yeah. We'll give you an experienced title-winning centre-back and you give us your youngster.
He is shit, though, for Benfica.
What, Otamendi?
Yeah. They got him and Vertonghen and they're both shit.
They're too slow.
When you think about it, if they did do a swap deal, 13.5 million off the Diaz 61 million fee is about 48 million. I said
swap deal in theory. It wasn't actually. That's why the fee went down.
It's effectively it is.
Yeah. So when you think, so
48 million.
Sane pretty much paid off Ake, and the Otamendi, take that away from Diaz's price. It's good. So when you think about it, they pretty much paid like the 40 million odd 48 million for Diaz and the 20 million for Torres. It's quite good business.
Yeah, I'd say good business from City.
But then
One
you expect that from City, though.
Yeah, they're always able to spend as much as they want. They've got the best sponsors in the world who suddenly pay them as much as they want.
Yeah.
They did lose
Yeah.
David Silva, which was...
Yeah, that was a massive hit. That was a massive hit.
He was a bit past it, but he was a great player.
He's incredible. I don't care what anyone says. He is incredible.
Last
Even at
5,
last
6
season,
years.
he played out of his skin because he knew it was his last year in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And he's doing well for Sociedad.
Yeah, I saw he's doing quite well.
Yeah.
They're doing quite well in the league, though, Sociedad, aren't they?
Yeah, they're performing quite well.
Dipped off a bit, but they start off amazingly.
Yeah, good on them.
Anyway, moving
Let's move
onwards.
on to Man United. We're the biggest and bestest club in the world.
Okay, right.
Oh, this is the biggest mixed bag I think I've seen ever. Lingardinho.
King.
He's incredible.
Only
I don't
business for
care.
West Ham.
I don't care. It doesn't matter what you say. I
England
hate
captain.
Lingard. I hate Lingard with a passion. I hate him.
That FA Cup goal.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
come
forgiving
on,
him.
man. You got to appreciate how good he is.
Haven't forgotten him since then. But United have done him so dirty. Because remember that one season where he played and he started and he actually done really well?
That was Mourinho's 2017-18.
Yeah, he done really well. And then ever since then he hasn't played. So
Yes,
everyone...
I think it was he had family problems which started to arise, which caused his performances to drop because of his mentality. He wasn't able to be only in football anymore.
Yeah.
I think his
But then I
mum
feel like
got
now
very ill
at
with
West
things.
Ham, he's enjoying football again.
Looks
It looks
so
like he's enjoying
happy.
football.
I saw an
Bruno's
interview. I saw an interview. In all fairness, it was Jesse Lingard said after his injury, Ollie promised him that he could come back to the starting lineup if he's good enough. He said in that time he worked harder than anyone else in the whole of the lineup, but he never got a chance. But you can't blame United. They've got Bruno Fernandes in his position.
Yeah. Like, you
I think-
can't blame them, but then, like, if you see a player putting in effort on the training ground, you would give him a little chance, maybe bring him on a few more times, a little bit earlier than
I think
like, the
you can
70th minute.
say Lingard was unlucky.
He was unlucky, but he had to compete as with, like you said,
Yeah.
Van der Beek as well. They bought in.
Lingard is a meme. He is a meme of a player, but he's such a meme of a player. But on his
I think-
day, he can perform, and it's proved with West Ham.
He deserved this chance at West Ham. What do you think, Callum, about him?
It'd be nuts not to want to join on a permanent.
I think it would
I
be
think-
bad for all sides, but United.
Yeah.
They've got a better version of Van der Beek already in their team, and they're using Van der Beek as a backup.
Yeah.
Amad Diallo was a potential amazing signing. He's one of the best
Yeah.
for his age.
Yeah.
I don't understand
best.
this signing.
I
When-
understand.
I understand the potential. I don't understand why they bought him now, and as well, like this last game he was on the bench. Ollie chose to give that other guy the
Yeah, I know the way you
17-year-old,
talk about
his
that.
debut
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah,
Diallo.
yeah.
Why give
Yeah.
him? Why give that guy his debut? Got a guy who's supposed to be the next best youngster in the world. You paid big money for.
Ollie's at
just
the wheel.
quite-
United are back.
I'm quite surprised that they didn't just let him go on loan for the rest of the season. Back to,
Yeah,
where did
exactly.
he come from? Atalanta, was it? Or-
Atalanta.
Yeah, surprised they just let him go back on loan there.
I'm
Because
surprised
at,
they
least
let him.
at least then he's guaranteed minutes.
He's played a few times for the under-23s, and I saw one game he got like 4 assists, goal. And
Yeah.
It was he
Yeah,
tore it
so
up.
everyone knows that he's good.
I
but-
would maybe even send him out to a kind of bad team. Let him be the best player in the squad because he seems like he's got quality already.
Send him
Yeah,
out to a lower Premier League team to get
it's a bit like
experience.
Harvey Elliott. Like, yeah, he's not that
Yeah.
good, but he's doing bits for Blackburn if he's playing for Blackburn, unless I got that really wrong.
No, it's Blackburn. Yeah,
Yeah. He's doing bits for him.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's not that much of a big name player, but he's doing class. He is their best player. And like you said, if you let him go to like a lower team, he'll make a name of himself already. Get his confidence up, so when he comes back, brilliant. Get him in.
I agree.
Because at the moment, Cavani, even though they got him on a free, brilliant signing, by the way.
Cavani was a good signing.
Brilliant signing.
class.
He's out injured.
Him and Thiago Silva were both left PSG on a free.
Yeah. He's
Yes.
out. He's out injured.
yeah, and Martial's nowhere near as good.
Martial can't finish anything. He can't
He's
finish
not.
his dinner.
He's not a pure striker. He's
No.
a winger.
Exactly. So give this new kid, that Diallo kid, give him a chance. If
Yeah.
you're playing a lower team like West Brom, even Palace, because we're on bad form at the moment, give him a chance. You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Because like they gave Rashford a chance at one time, and now look at him.
Yeah, I think let's talk about Tellez a little bit now. I think even for a backup left back, it wasn't a bad price, but he wasn't expected to do that. He was expected to come in and bring such attacking flair with his assists, set pieces, the way he played. He's been disappointing from a United fan's point of view. I would think if I would ask one, Luke Shaw's been great.
I've got a point about Tellez. He, like you said, it was a great price. He got the most assists in Portugal this season, and he got quite a few goals. Most of them depends, but anyway, he was brought in to be United's first choice left back.
Yeah.
I don't think it was, every time Tellez has played, he's done all right. I think Luke Shaw just stepped up because he was about to lose his place.
Yeah, he knew that there was competition there, so he stepped up to make sure he was the first name in the left back position.
It's not that Tellez is bad. I think Luke Shaw.
No, I didn't say Tellez was bad. I said Tellez has been unlucky.
Yeah, he has. I agree with that. Yeah.
I feel like Tellez as a player in general, is really good, but this year he has been quite underperforming
But
to his usual standard. Even though he did play in Portuguese league, and no disrespect to the Portuguese league, but it's not as good as the Premier League.
No, it's not.
So this once again, the step between Portuguese league and the Premier League is massive.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger than the one from Germany.
Yeah, so like it's massive, and he was expecting, I'll be all right. I've defended against a few of these players in the Champions League, but it's like the players you don't expect that will absolutely tear you apart. Like look at Bamford. No one expected him to bag the goals. Look at him go. Calvert-Lewin.
I don't think Tellez can use that as an excuse because there's been so many players from Portugal coming to England and doing really well. He's got to step up as well.
Yeah, 100%.
I've said Shaw's been better, but Tellez has got to step up if he's got to be in the starting.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree. Sanchez going on a free to Milan was good for them.
Yeah, fair enough.
It was based on wages. Well, his wages.
And he's still an okay player still. Lingard we think is bad. Fosu Mensah possibly could have stayed, but they've also got other players who can fill that role.
I feel like Chris Smalling was a big mistake.
Massive mistake. So still looking for another centre back again.
He wasn't part of Ollie's plans.
I know, and he's playing for Roma. Yes.
Yeah.
He played there last year as well, didn't he? On loan.
Yeah.
He done really well at Roma.
Yeah, he did, yes.
So I was expecting them. Oh, we got Maguire and Smalling. Oh, that can be the new England duo in the middle. Why haven't they kept him? He's better than Lindelof.
He was about to stay at one point.
Yeah, because Roma couldn't afford it, but then they found their funds somehow. Maybe they took out a loan or something. I don't know. I'm not saying anything dodgy.
But yeah, I feel like Smalling was a big mistake letting him go. I think he's incredible as a player.
Yeah.
He will walk into that Man United centre half role next to Maguire quite easily. Even though they're in a way quite similar players. Smalling's a lot quicker than Maguire. But they both have the same mind when defending, is pretty much win the ball at all times, block the ball at all times, is what you want your centre half to do. And I feel like with Lindelof, if he is their starting centre back with Maguire, he doesn't put his body on the line enough. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, because I haven't really watched him that much. But when I have watched him, it seems like Maguire does all the work, which is unfair for him.
I think Lindelof makes too many mistakes, is the word.
And then they expect Maguire with his glittering pace to try and pick up the pieces, and he can't. And that's why he gets all the stick, because he's not quick enough to do it. But then it's not him who should be dealing with the problem, because the problem shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Yeah, I think if any one of us were in crutches, would still be faster than Maguire.
Exactly. So,
right, let's move on. Newcastle. I think Newcastle. Yeah.
I would actually say, may I get off the bat by saying, they signed Wilson for 20 million. He's done okay.
He's a steal. He's a steal for 20 million, I'd say.
Newcastle, I think.
Had they not had Steve Bruce as the manager, he would have been flying for goals.
Well, he's still got like 11 goals this year in the Premier.
And he's injured.
I think he could have been more. That's what I'm trying to say. Had he not had Steve Bruce.
100%.
Manager, stick everyone behind the ball. Sam Maximan's been injured at points. Wilson would have many more goals.
Yeah, 100%.
Perhaps if it went a tad different.
Mm.
Brian
He's
Fraser
got-
for right?
Wilson's got 10 goals and 5 assists in the Premier League.
It's good. That's
That's
good.
very good.
For a
That's
club
what
like Newcastle, that's great.
He's the only
And the
reason-
manager like Steve Bruce.
pretty much when you're a team like Newcastle, team like Palace, blah, 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 you want your striker to get at least minimum 10 goals.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Got it.
You want him to get double figures, especially if you want to stay in the Prem. So him doing that already, and with the absolute dead weight he has to carry of Newcastle, he's done really well. To get the other 5 assists as well, I'm surprised it's that high.
Look, Andy Carroll with Miguel also the Almiron.
Yeah, like I'm surprised it is that high of 5 assists.
Yeah.
So I don't really see anyone else on the score sheet apart from Callum Wilson.
No, you don't. You see, every now and again, you'll see someone come up and you'll just be like, oh, that's cool. But
You'd be like, oh,
you
brilliant,
expect Callum
nice.
Wilson.
New goals. Yeah.
Yedlin was not a great transfer for them to leave. I think they used him pretty well.
Who did they get to replace him? Was that Jamal Lewis?
I don't know.
Yeah, Jamal Lewis is their fullback.
He's a left back and Yedlin's a right back though, but
He's not been bad.
No, Lewis has been good though.
yeah.
I'm not saying Lewis is good, not good, but I'm just saying Yedlin probably shouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
I don't even.
He has got such knowledge of the Premier League because he has been playing in the Premier League for such a long time. And you get rid of him to get a player who's played in the Premier League once to the team that finished bottom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even though Jamal Lewis is a very good fullback, he's young, he's got talent, you know he can do it.
Yeah.
But letting someone who's rapid, who knows the Premier League, knows the players, it's a little bit stupid to let go for £4.5 million personally. I wouldn't have done it.
I think even the fact he's American brings a lot of money. You always want to have the American eyes on the Premier League. They're always going to look. An American fan who wants to support a Premier League club will go, okay, England, let's support an American player there. They've got Christian Pulisic or Yedlin at that point. It seemed like a bit of a silly move. Now he's gone to Galatasaray, I guess. But
Yeah.
maybe he fell out with the board or something. Maybe he saw that Newcastle were never going to be moving forward because of Steve Bruce. Brian Fraser was.
That wouldn't surprise me. We don't know the ins and outs of Newcastle because I don't think any of us pays any enough interest to them. So we don't know the ins and outs of them.
No, I think Ryan Fraser was good. A few
Good
years ago,
signing
he
for
was
free.
the second top assister a few years ago.
Yeah,
Willock on loan. Willock on loan was a great decision as well.
Been quite good.
Willock. Yeah, he's good. Good player. Really good player.
I think we're ready to move on.
Yes.
Sheffield.
Ooh.
Brian Brewster.
We can talk a lot about this team,
We can, yes.
but then I just feel like they've missed that one crucial player.
Who is and Henderson at the end of their loan?
Yeah.
We put him there because he was a notable departure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Although
think
he wasn't ever there.
But
I think
back
people
you that.
expected Sheffield to do bad this season though.
They did, but they could have pushed on from last season if they tried harder to keep Henderson. Look at all the money they just spent there. Their net spend was minus 56. United wanted 45 for Henderson. Sheffield was able to spend that by the looks of it, but they didn't. And Ramsdale, who isn't a bad keeper, but he wasn't ever going to be able to.
Yeah, when you
fill
think
those-
about it, instead of buying Brewster and Ramsdale, they could have just bought Henderson.
Yeah, exactly. Bear in mind,
Oh, they're
Brewster
idiots.
Brewster didn't score, and Ramsdale was unnecessary at that point then.
Brewster's
Yeah.
a championship level striker.
100%.
At
If
best.
that-
He done really well for
At
Swansea.
best, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's a League One level.
Oh, no. I'll say, oh, no. At least
He's a championship player.
put a little bit of respect on his name.
Yeah, he did well
Only
at
a little
Swansea.
bit, though. Only a
Guys,
tiny
he's won a
bit.
Champions League. What are you on about?
Um,
Oh, God, here we go.
So-
Getting his haircut.
So is Daniel Sturridge, but it wasn't for Liverpool. It was for Chelsea as a backup player.
Yeah.
So if you want to go off of a Champions League, then who else has also got one?
Norwich got two. He won one for Liverpool.
Right, off the topic of that,
He was-
Burke.
Who's
but
that?
he's okay though.
He's not
I'm not gonna lie.
bad.
He's
He's
alright.
not bad. He's that little whippet, Scottish
Rocket
bloke,
rocket.
I think.
Yeah,
Like
he's
the
Big
rocket
ears,
rocket.
like the really
Yeah.
big ears.
Yeah, and the large
he came from
smile.
Leipzig as well.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Mm.
He's not bad, but he's
No.
playing in a very underperforming team, so he's
Yeah.
obviously not going to be a good signing.
I feel like we all knew that
Price is okay.
Sheffield's Sheffield's defence wasn't that good, and it was overperforming last season.
Oh, 100%.
And they didn't do enough to bring in quality. If they've, in my opinion, no matter who they brought in, if it wasn't a good enough level to make up for the loss of Henderson, they were making a massive mistake.
Definitely.
So it seems like no matter how you try and spin this story, it still seems like it was a bad window, in my opinion.
Well, they always needed goals, so they brought in a person who hasn't really scored enough Premier League goals for 23.5 million.
Okay, let's just imagine they spent £7 more million. They would have got Ollie Watkins.
Mm-hmm.
They could have got Callum Wilson for 20 million.
Yeah.
They could have got
even
Josh King.
Even an older player, an older, more experienced player.
They could have got Josh King in on loan like Everton did in January. They could have just got him in.
There's so many more options they had, but they got screwed royally by Liverpool.
Oh, 100%. That's good business by Liverpool.
Yeah,
Yep.
very good business. Fair play to them.
But yeah,
Right.
Don't know who the last two played, or the last three.
I know Bogle is an okay fullback.
Bogle's solid.
He's not going to light up the world anytime soon, but
It's been okay for them.
He's a championship level player once again.
Free man left as a free man, so
Yeah, 3 man on a free.
he's gone.
Berup's left as a free man.
Yeah, and Morrison left as a free man. It's like,
Ravel Morrison, yeah.
bloody hell, he had so much potential.
The streets will never forget.
I can't believe we bought in a Streets.
We forgot to say that for Balassi.
Oh, mate.
Lassie.
Beautiful player to watch. Right.
I think next is Spurs.
Should be.
Southampton, yeah.
They've done well this season.
Good
Except
window.
Hoiberg.
For 15 million and let him go. They let him go so cheap.
I think he had a year left though.
Yeah, but it's still really cheap.
Yeah. Like, he's an absolute bowler. He's what people think of now when they think of a CDM who's young, well, relatively young, and likes to get in 1 million tackles per game.
Pretty much a CDM who likes to brawl on the ball.
I feel like if there wasn't Mourinho there, he would still be making more numbers.
Yeah.
Because he's got to be a centre-back half the time under Mourinho.
Yeah. I feel like Minamino was a great loan signing.
Yeah, good loan player.
It's good for both parties because Liverpool needed him to get more Premier League experience. And he wants a chance of breaking in.
And he can actually help Southampton.
He's the player the Premier League lacking because they needed a pacey winger to come in who can do the tricks and bring more confidence to the side. Walcott on loan. He is old, but
he's done well, at Southampton.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he scored against Arsenal and celebrated like he won the Champions League. It made my day.
Loved it.
So
I think Walker Peters was good.
He has a really good signing for only 12 million. He's a very good player for only 12 million.
Yeah.
Cedric was deadwood at the end of the day. They got rid of Cedric and signed Carl Walker Peters. That is solid for the next few years.
100%. Carl Walker Peters has got a long career ahead of him, I feel.
I think Harrison Reed was a bit of a mistake because he's one of Fulham's best players.
Yeah.
He's decent.
I agree.
Diallo, I haven't really seen much of him.
Yeah, neither.
So Lemina, going on loan plus money, he can come back as a better player. I think that was a really good decision.
Yeah, because he needed it because he went out to
Turkey.
Fulham.
No, he's at Fulham.
But the season before that, he went to Turkey.
Yeah, something like that.
So he needed to get back into Premier League football if he wants to get into the starting lineup.
He's not even playing for Fulham though. That's the thing.
I know, it's sad. But good business by Southampton because they still got 2 million out of it.
Yeah, money plus experience.
So what more could you want?
Nothing. Really, nothing.
So it should be Spurs next if I know my
ABCs. Yeah.
There we go.
First sticky one for Spurs.
This is the first year in a while Spurs spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
And has it worked? Really?
I think if we go through them,
the value of the transfers was really good by Spurs.
Reguilon was brilliant. Doherty seemed smart.
I think he's worth that price tag, 100%.
Doherty seems smart. Højbjerg, we've just talked about. He's got 4.1 tackles and interceptions per game. He's brilliant. Lo Celso, is actually popping up big for them.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
he started off quite slow.
Yeah, but he's finding his feet. I'd say
Which is
Vinicius has
good.
been a good loan signing. He's popped up here and there, but they've
Yeah.
got a massive buyback clause on him, so I'm not sure what they're
Yes,
doing.
Was it like-
45 million.
Oh yeah,
45 million.
I wouldn't pay that for him.
Is
For a person who scores only in like the cup games, you don't want it.
He's a good
Yeah, but
backup,
he-
but not for that money.
He
Yeah.
could be brilliant one day. Joe Roden has been a decent
He's
signing.
played there and then.
He's
Yeah,
played there and then. He's for
Yeah.
the future. When Alderweireld, I think he's a centre back, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Alderweireld leaves, yeah, I think that's what he's there for. I think they've done some good piece of business. If they come to what they could be, such as Regulon, it might be dangerous only because Real Madrid have a £40 million buyback back on him, but the rest of it is good, in my opinion.
I feel like letting Sessegnon go out on loan, big mistake.
he wouldn't
I
have
don't-
fit in under Mourinho. He's not defensive enough.
Left back Regulon would have displaced him straight away.
Yeah, no, but he can play anywhere though, Sessegnon.
In theory, yeah, but
But then I just feel like he's too good really to go out on loan to another club. I just feel like if you're not going to use, just sell him off. Let Palace
They might
buy
have
him.
they might have a little problem next year because they've got Joe Hart here and then Gazaniga next year. He's back. Van
Yeah.
Voigt was supposed to be amazing, but he's not.
Foyth, I feel like his only goal came against Palace.
I don't remember if he ever
Something like
scored,
that.
so that might be.
Yeah, his only goal was against Palace and they won 1-0. It's
He's
typical
always
that.
making fouls as well.
Mm.
Such a sloppy player.
Yeah,
I think if they had Pochettino with this current 11, they would be firing.
yeah, 100%.
I think they've spoken to Nagelsmann about taking this next year. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
I'm not sure he will take it, but they've contacted him and his representatives, and that would be a very interesting move for the Premier League.
Yeah.
To have him back. All right.
Who is next? That's just the question.
Next, I
Maybe-
think is West Brom, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it might. Ooh.
I
Big
think they've done
Ivanovic.
okay business, West Brom.
Legend Ivanovic. Icon.
I
right
think
there.
they done quite well.
Yeah, in terms of transfers, they signed Diangana from West Ham.
That was
Great
a big.
People
player.
said that was
Mark
West Ham fans.
Knobel was very
Would you-
annoyed about that.
Everyone was annoyed about that. We shouldn't have
Yeah.
sold him.
He'll be back anyway because they're going down, so he'll come back.
Callum Grant seems like a good long-term signing.
Pereira's,
He's a great player to watch. I think he's class.
yeah, he's
I
been
think
good for a
they-
few years now as well. Finally
I
getting
think
credit.
I think they've made a quite a shrewd piece of business. Grant can
Yeah.
be there for another 10 years. He's 30. He's not 33. He'll be 33. He's 23 right now. He'll eventually make that position his own, I believe.
Yeah.
Especially now that Charlie Austin's gone out, and same
Yeah.
with Burke. I feel like they could be here to stay if they
Yeah.
somehow stay up with Big Fat Farm.
I feel like Snodgrass for 99,000 is
He
a
works very
steal
hard.
That was a steal.
for an experienced player.
Speaking
Well-
of experience, there's Ivanovic there as well.
Exactly. So they've got
Premier
two
League
experienced
winners.
players, and they know how to play football as well. They're not just experienced just because they play. They know how to do it because Ivanovic has done it time and time again for Chelsea. Snodgrass was just class. Don't know why West Ham let him go, but it was class.
He played for us, especially after the way we've been playing recently.
True.
I mean, but would you have expected more than £99,000?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they mugged you off twice that window.
Yeah.
Well, they're going down, so fuck them.
We spoke about Burke with Sheffield United. We said it's been all right. It's good business by West Brom to get 6 million back from him.
I feel like this season they started with two very defensive managers, which have clipped the wings of such players like Diangana, Grant, and Pereira.
Yeah.
If they had Scott Pollock, not Scott Parker. Yeah, hashtag United, Northampton. If they had Scott Parker, it would be a completely different
Yeah.
story.
Nathan Ferguson on a free to Palace. Good deal by Palace, really bad by West Brom because he's so young.
So he's always injured though.
Yeah, well, he came with a knee injury. We tried to get him in January last January, and he failed medical because they forgot to tell us that he had a knee injury. So we got him in summer for a freebie. He said a knee injury,
Alright.
but now he's back in training, which I'm happy about because he can play anywhere in the back line. So I'm really happy about that. I think it's a bad mistake by West Brom letting him go. But then he only left because he didn't know if West Brom was going to get promoted. And by then the deal had already been arranged.
Yeah.
So it's a shame by West Brom, but good bit of business for Palace for the future, I guess, because he's still very young. Don't really know much about Brunt and Harper, so.
Neither. He's getting the brunt of this. He's getting the brunt of this talk. He doesn't really know anything about him.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to. Well, Callum can take the lead with this one.
Yeah.
I might be biased, but I think we've had one of the best transfers, like overall.
I agree.
Yeah, they've had some brilliant pieces of business.
Benrahma, he's playing well, but he's a victim to good squad depth in his position. He's got 4 assists and creates a lot of our goals, but sometimes doesn't get started. Souček, we all know.
It's a god this year.
Absolutely.
He's incredible, Souček.
Yeah.
Kufal, Hagen.
Yeah.
Another one, yeah. These are little hidden gems.
They are.
I was reading something. He's statistically the hardest fullback to get past or something this season.
More than Wan-Bissaka?
Apparently.
Wow.
Honestly, that doesn't really surprise me that much.
Yeah.
He has been solid. And for
underrated.
only 5.5, that's incredible.
Where is he from? Is he from the Czech Republic or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
he's Czech.
Yeah. Wow.
Came
Lingard.
from the same club as Souček.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slavia Prague.
Yeah.
20 million between them. Wow.
Lingard's just a new player now. He's playing so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explained it a bit at United.
Sorry?
We explained it a bit at United, but obviously
Yeah.
it's still impressive how he's turned it around. He was a mean player.
Yeah, definitely.
Dawson, I expected to be terrible, but he's been
Class.
He's an underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's been class. I don't know how
every
he's done
game
it.
as well.
He was terrible for Watford last season. Now we can
Yeah.
sign him for 3-4 million.
Yeah.
I think David Moyes is building something there.
I think he is. I'm a bit scared.
20 million for Haller. Oh my days.
That's
How
Did
did
that come out
that
of
happen?
nowhere? Did that
Brilliant
come out of
business.
nowhere?
Yeah, who did he sign for? Didn't he sign for like a really
Ajax.
big team?
Ajax.
Yeah.
Ajax. He's playing really well for them.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. It's a slower league, but wow.
He's another non-Premier League player that should have never joined.
How many did you
Yeah.
buy him for from Frankfurt?
45.
No wonder you guys wanted at least 20.
Oh, that's
Jeez,
awful.
you should have lied about that, mate. The Diagana. Oh.
Shouldn't
Yeah,
have
we-
told him.
Is
Then-
that Felipe Anderson at the bottom
Yeah.
there?
Covered him at West Brom.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He used to be amazing.
Yeah, but didn't like Felipe Anderson do another like Payet where he like refused or whatever?
No, he just his form just dropped. Payet wanted to leave, but Anderson just somehow dropped and never performed again.
That's a shame. He was a good player.
He doesn't
He
even
was-
play
he-
for Porto.
He elevated West Ham before.
Mm.
I think
A
he only,
Jetty, wasn't he like? Isn't he like a Swiss striker?
yeah.
He didn't do that well. So 5 mil from it for him is quite right.
And he's not doing very well at Celtic. They're having
There
a
you go.
terrible season.
Well, Celtic
Felipe-
aren't doing that well in general because
Yeah.
Rangers are just stealing the show up there,
Mhm.
Even Gerrard.
doing a madness up there.
Imagine your only input about Rangers mentioning the manager.
Lampard was still a better player though, Stefan.
Obviously,
I think that's a fact.
Lampard couldn't defend. We're not having this.
Anyway, it doesn't matter now. We'll save that for another video.
That could be another podcast.
Yeah, that's actually a great podcast.
Oh no, I beg neither me nor Stefan are on it just to make it as non-biased as possible. I'll
Johan goodbye
produce
just
that.
shits on everyone, so it's fine.
No, mate. The real player you need to talk about here is John Obi Mikel. He literally got Man United in problems when we signed him. Like he is on a level beyond Luka Modric.
Where John Obi Mikel was like a mistake signing, or
No,
like such
you
a
know-
fraudulent signing.
Yeah, he had signed a contract with Man United, but then he refused to like actually sign for them in a way. I think the club we signed him from got both money from us and Man United.
Oh, they're loving life.
Yeah. I'm not sure. It was a really dodgy case. There was times where it
Are we
went to
speaking
law.
about Mikel and West Ham a bit?
I don't know.
Things just come up, lad. Things just come
Yeah.
up.
Okay. Yeah. Felipe Anderson. He's also only played like 180 minutes this season.
Josh
Like,
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say that he's only played about 180 minutes. Yeah, 185 is what I've got down.
So 2
minutes this
games.
season.
He's actually played 2 games.
Effectively, but yeah.
We shouldn't
Of
have got rid of.
course.
Sorry.
Carry on. I keep cutting you off. Sorry, mate.
We shouldn't have got rid of Josh Cullen.
Who's he?
Why? Who is he?
He went on loan to Charlton, played very well for them. He was playing really well pre-season in whenever the hell the last pre-season was it 2 summers ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't play him, and then he played really well in cut games, and then they just sold him off to Belgium. And now we've got 3 central midfielders.
Shame.
Yeah.
What I would say is I do remember him from. I was talking to Callum about this before the podcast. Josh Cullen, I remember when he used to play at Bradford. He was probably Bradford's best player on loan from West Ham that one season. It was the season they got to the playoff final. And I know Bradford did want to make it permanent, but West Ham wanted to keep him. So for them to lose him now for £450,000, it just seems a bit crazy.
Definitely.
Can I quickly mention that? If we go back to the West Brom, we forgot probably one of their biggest, influences this season, Conor Gallagher. He's actually played very well for them this season.
Yeah, he's done well.
He wasn't there, I think, probably because it was a loan deal and there wasn't enough space on the table. There wasn't enough space on the
I think
table.
they may have got him the season before then.
Maybe it was no, because he was at Charlton then Swansea. That it was just Callum mentioning Charlton reminded me. He's been great for them this season.
Yeah, 100%. He's been incredible.
Yeah.
He still won't ever make it in Chelsea, but who knows?
Him and Billy Gilmore fighting to be that 6th player. Something like that.
Should be Wolves after West Ham now.
I think we're on our final team now. We'll let our Wolves fanboy Portuguese guy talk about it.
We'll let the Portuguese person talk about this.
I mean, I think we all agree on this, to be honest. Silva has potential, but really overpriced.
Fabio Silva.
Really, really overpriced.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything in Portugal. He played a couple of times and people hyped him up. I think it was another dodgy signing. But yeah.
Yeah, Jorge Mendes.
Mendes, Semedo, I think, was okay. Bit expensive. Doherty, they left as a replacement. Semedo had the quality at Barca, but he hasn't really been that great.
It's just a big name player, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was okay. Hover, I think he was from Liverpool.
We got 8 mil for Hover.
Yeah, I don't really know who he is. Not gonna lie, he doesn't really play.
However, that was a good piece of business. Hey.
Liverpool know how to scam someone.
We do.
Got 24 million in Brewster and only got nearly
145 for Coutinho.
I don't know what they're doing, but
I mean, they paid 35 for Andy Carroll at one point, so they can't all be rosy.
You paid 50 for Torres.
Yeah, he was one of the best in the world. Hey, shut up.
Back to Wolves. Who's Marcal?
He came from Lyon. He was.
You don't know who Marcal is? He's the defender.
Yeah, centre back. He's quite old.
Yeah, he's decent. He's a rotation player. He's there to fill gaps.
He brings experience with another Portuguese accent.
Pretty much.
Vitinha, I actually really rate him. He had a couple. He played quite a bit at Porto. He was decent, and Wolves got him on a loan. I think he's got a buyout clause. I don't know how much, but I think the times he's played, he scored a banging goal in the FA Cup. But I think he's promising.
Yeah.
Willian Jose, I think he's shit. Straight up.
They only really got him just to...
Yeah, to Phil Jimenez. And I've seen him he's only played 3 or 4 games, but he's just not good enough. He's not Premier League quality.
I can't believe they missed out on Ryan Brewster for 24 million. Disgusting.
Liverpool got a buyback clause on Brewster for 30 million.
I think you take it.
Yeah,
I think you take it.
Yeah,
better than Firmino.
Better than Mane.
Mane still scored more than Werner.
I don't believe he has.
He scored 7 Premier League goals.
Oh, bollocks.
Exactly. Anyway, moving onwards to now Mane's teammate, Jota. We said a bit about him in the Liverpool bit, but got to be a massive loss for Wolves, hasn't it? They thought they got a great deal for him, but you've got to think now where they can't score a goal for love nor money with him and his injury. Jota, a sale of that quality of a player.
However,
Neto.
Pedro Neto,
Pedro Neto as well is class.
Neto
He's
stepped
filled
up.
he has
He's
stepped
filled
up so hard.
He is really good.
His
I
goal
remember-
against Southampton was beautiful. His little solo goal.
I remember when Neto scored against us. It was probably the first game that Lampard out was starting to seriously take some traction. He made us look silly twice.
Mm.
He had a brilliant performance.
He's a very tricky player.
I think he's going to
Hit-
go to Pros, honestly.
No, he won't ever leave. He won't ever leave. He's Portuguese, mate.
I said Euros, but yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
No,
I didn't
no,
hear
I
what you
said-
said.
I said
I thought you were saying
Euros.
about sign up. Yeah, okay, he can fit into that Euros.
Yeah, he
Better
scored
than
on his debut.
Better than Guedes.
Mm.
He's not going to
100%.
start. He's not going to start because Felix, Jota, Ronaldo.
No, he won't start, but he'll be
on
one
the
of the
bench.
players. Yeah.
He'll be on the bench. Great sub. Great sub.
Costa, moving on, Costa, I think they're good business for Wolves. He'd
Yeah,
been
massive.
at Leeds Championship and getting 50.
Yeah. So still, well, not really
Doherty-
still, but they've got money out of him.
Yeah, definitely. Doherty, we've covered. I think they could have got more for him. He was really important. I think he was better than Semedo is, but
Yeah, massively.
But then I feel like it does come into effect again of Premier League experience. Even though Semedo did play for Barcelona, he wasn't really I don't know, I didn't really watch Barcelona, but he wasn't really a starter.
no,
He was the biggest downgrade to Dani Alves they could have made.
Yeah, pretty much. And with Semedo, I feel like with Premier League experience, he will become a good fullback. He just needs
He needs to improve on his defending.
He's already-
He's
he's not
okay
too young.
dribbling.
he's not too young already. He's like 27, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
So-
older. You think he's been around for quite a while now.
yeah.
He might be good in the next few years, but who knows?
Well, I hope so.
I don't want another team to compete with.
Already
Well,
got West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham are going to
They're
get.
not on my caliber of like teams to compete with. I'm more like Brighton and Newcastle. So
Sheffield.
I'm not that low.
Chelsea. Chelsea are more like Spurs, Wolves. At the
Mine's
moment.
like Arsenal. Not lot.
We're looking to
Yours,
take United,
yours
I
is
think.
Sheffield. Sheffield.
No, it's not.
West
We're
Brom.
closer to the
And
top
Fulham.
six than we are to the bottom.
Good for Arsenal and West Ham are top positions this season, which is mad.
Arsenal weren't fourth last year.
I meant like the top 6 team.
On a
Yeah,
different note,
4-0.
Leeds are winning 2-0.
Yeah,
Really?
I saw that Leeds are winning 2-0.
Yeah, Bamford and Dallas.
Against who?
Southampton, and Costa's got an assist as well, so
Oh, there we go.
On a different note, Chelsea are in
that means
19 minutes as well.
16 million.
Yes,
So
you
to
was,
quickly round
mate.
this off, who do you think had the best transfer window?
Everton.
I'll have to back that. Everton.
I'll say either Everton or West Ham.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Everton or West Ham, just because the turnaround they've had this year, just because West Ham, not trying to be rude or anything, they were on par with like a Palace level team,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
like mid-table,
Where-
bottom mid-table, and all of a sudden they're top 4. You're thinking, well, hang on a second.
I think we've
Like-
always had a good team on paper, but performing.
Yeah,
I feel like West Ham have made a lot of strides in recent years. They are definitely run better than people think. They
yeah.
used to be around lower mid-table towards relegation under bad form, and now under good form, which looks like it's going to stay, they're in the top 4. I think you can also mention Spurs' transfer window, definitely.
You
You
could
can't
in a
really-
way, but then I feel like
I don't think Spurs are up there.
straight initial change and improvement, it has to be West Ham and Everton.
You could also put City, as in
Yeah.
they've succeeded.
Very
They
true.
succeeded, but they also sold Sane, who's
That is true.
baller. They got
Oh,
I don't know
that's
why
true.
they didn't
for-
play Sane. I think Sane is just incredible as a player. They could have trained him into being a striker.
They
They
should have
could've
put
moulded
him. They should put him back on the left and put Sterling on the right.
Yeah,
Realistically,
and then
because Bernardo
and then
Silva
made-
doesn't perform.
and then made that Torres player, mould him into a striker. Class, brilliant. You got the best attack for the next like 10 years. Brilliant. Go.
Well,
Win the league
in
like
theory-
9 times.
In theory, Chelsea have got the best attack for the next 10 years as well. But Havertz is still only 21.
He's been around for time.
Yeah, he is. But let's hope he just continues to improve.
I hope injuries don't take a massive toll on his career.
I
As a
think
football
Chelsea, I think the Chelsea finances are hoping that as well.
Just because I feel like he is such a brilliant player to watch.
If he gets a little bit of muscle and he continues with the rest of his form, he can still be in that
Definitely.
future best 11 in the world conversation.
100%.
All right, so we agree it's either Everton or West Ham.
Yeah, I'd say so. For straight initial change, but like for future changes, then that's a different conversation. But don't think we can
maybe Aston Villa.
Just about to say it.
Yeah, Aston Villa have had a good one. If you think about future, then Chelsea are in the conversation.
But
Future.
we paid far too much to only think of the future.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
But Leicester had a good one, but I wouldn't put them as best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's those 3 teams in my opinion.
Oh,
Villa,
100%.
West Ham and Everton.
Yeah. And for like proper initial, I would say Man City are up there.
It's won them the league. It's won them the league this year.
Yeah, 100%. Now they've got even more squad depth of what they had, which was hard to beat. So,
yeah. They've still got Mahrez and Bernardo Silva in that forward line and Phil Foden.
Their reserves are worth more than the Palace starting lineup. So
they've got the best starting 11 if you only use their bench.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
been that's been Premcast. We'll catch you next time. Out.
In a bit.